How's it going, everybody? This is Precisely Podcast, and you are listening on the airwaves to Kelly right now. And also with me, virtually, I have Bo.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
How are you, Bo?
I am doing very well, and we have a special guest today, Chris, aka I'm probably going to mess this up, Cousi.retro.games.
You nailed it. Cousi.retro.games.
Sweet. I usually mess up IG names all the time. All right, so it's Cousi.
Yep.
Like a drink koozie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that how?
A lot
Okay,
of
is that?
a lot of people
Sorry.
go with Cuzzy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But you decided against it. Smart man.
Yeah, thank you. So, how are you, Chris?
Doing good. The weather's finally getting nice here in Michigan. We've had high 70s, low 80s the last few days. So that's been really nice. Had a nice Memorial Day weekend, and I hope all is well with you guys.
Yeah,
Nice.
I went kayaking for the first time this year with a friend and my wife, and we had a great time. It was so much fun. A lot of people shooting guns though on the creek,
Wow.
which was a little unsettling to say the least. And like the guns just kept getting like bigger and bigger calibers sounding. The last one just sounded like bombshells going off. We're like, what the hell is going on? But everyone was safe besides one person that was behind us in a different group that definitely capsized and
Oh,
hyperventilated.
man.
But
Jeez.
besides that, everyone was safe and we all had a great time.
Oh my God. Dude, yeah, you were floating down by my house probably a little bit.
Oh, true that. Yeah, I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's real close to where we live.
It
You guys,
literally it
so you,
literally comes up to my neighborhood. Like there's a park in my neighborhood that you could essentially push off from if you wanted.
Oh, cool.
so you guys both live near water?
Yeah, we're near a major river in the
And
central Pennsylvania area.
yeah,
Nice.
and creeks and stuff and lakes. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
there's
about
plenty
you?
of stuff.
Yeah, I'm about 15-ish minutes away from Lake St. Clair, so I'll go just dock fishing there all the time during the summer and a little bit of ice fishing in the winter. But my girlfriend's family has a cabin up in Manistee, which is in northern Michigan, and there's all kinds of lakes and stuff over there, kind of near Lake Michigan. So we were up there on the water this past weekend.
That's awesome.
Nice. It's a good time to be out right now. I mean, you were saying the weather's getting nice up there. Here it was pretty nice. The last couple of days have been kind of brutally hot though.
Yeah,
Oh my
Like
gosh. Yeah.
humid. It's getting to the humid summer, which I hate. But
Hate it.
that nice 70s, low 80s is where I like to be, and that was basically this weekend, and that was so nice to just be able to like sit outside and read a book and just relax in the nature.
exactly. I don't like when it's crazy hot either because I don't tan, I sunburn.
Oh
But
yeah.
my girlfriend is the complete opposite. Her idea of fun is laying out in a lawn chair and soaking in the sun, and I would be just hiding underneath a beach towel.
Yeah.
I feel that. I feel that burn. Definitely.
So, how old are you, Chris? You said
21. 21.
21.
Yep, my birthday's actually on Sunday. I'll be 22 on Sunday.
Ooh, happy
Oh,
birthday.
congrats. Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Thank you.
A little
This
early.
will this will be coming out a day before your birthday. So,
Sweet.
that's awesome. I remember when I was 22.
Back in my day.
actually I don't remember it at all.
I was probably an asshole. I mean, I kind of
Definitely.
still am, but probably more so.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
fun. So you just graduated college, you said?
Yeah, so I just graduated college about a month ago. So it was kind
yeah.
of, kind of a weird feeling. I lived on campus all 4 years, so it would have felt more, I guess, real if I would take my last final, kind of turn it in and walk across campus one more time, just being like, okay, I'm actually done. But the fact that I took my last final just sitting in my basement, and it didn't feel really real. It felt like I had to go back to class the next week. But
Oh, true, yeah.
Mhm.
they because of the whole COVID-19 stay-at-home
Mhm.
order, they actually pushed back our graduation to the last weekend of August. A lot of schools here in Michigan have actually just canceled their graduations or
Yeah.
made them online, but it's nice that they kind of pushed it back to the last weekend of August, if it even still happens then. We're actually still under the stay-at-home order here in Michigan until June 12th.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, we're just coming out of it, kind of.
Sort of.
We're in the yellow phase of
Mm,
coming back into life, which I don't know. Uh, I don't know. That's a whole different thing, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's weird. Nobody really knows what's going on, but that's fine. And that's not why we're here to talk to you. But
Yeah.
nope.
But I'm
it
glad that your graduation was just, postponed and they're giving you a shot to
and
celebrate that in a couple
Exactly.
months.
Exactly.
and that you still got your degree too, because my
Hell
one
yeah.
buddy's going for like electrician work, like actual like tower climbing and stuff,
Mhm.
and that got pushed back indefinitely.
Wow.
So he's just like, I need to take the actual like hands-on classes still. Everything else I was able to finish, but not the hands-on stuff,
Yeah.
and they don't know when that's going to happen. So
Yeah.
it sort of sucks.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's good that, you've got something to look forward to there and you're done. And I mean, I remember finishing college whatever, a couple years ago. I graduated in 2013 was when I was in college.
Mhm.
I remember leaving and being done, with everything, and I had a winter graduation just because of like some scheduling stuff. I
Yep.
had to do an extra semester. So I had a winter graduation. I remember leaving and then like on the way out, it just like all hit me that like, you know, everything I knew for the last 4.5 years was just gonna change. And I was like,
Yep.
damn it. No. And I realized like, no, turn around, go back. I don't want to leave yet. I'm not ready.
I
And I was
totally
like
feel
super
you.
scared. But, I mean, things are different, coming out into this job market and stuff. So I hope that it works in your favor. But just to keep pushing through it, and it'll it'll get better, and
Yep.
you'll find your niche. And yeah, it's crazy just
Definitely.
transferring out of that life.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you said, it's all you've known for the past 4 years, and for me, like I said, it was a different experience. The end of it, but I'm just excited to be done and see what else has to come now.
Yeah, for sure. What'd you get your degree in?
Marketing.
Oh, cool. That'll
Yeah.
be
Very
that'll
cool.
be fun. I know a lot of people that work in like marketing kind of situations, and that always seems like such a fun kind of job, like fun kind of field to
Yeah.
work in.
So my
There's a
so my
lot to
dream
do.
is to do sports marketing. I want to work for a sports
Uh,
team. I had an internship in college where I worked for an automotive company, but it wasn't really my cup of tea. So I really
mhm.
want to do sports marketing.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be too. Sports marketing is that's the real deal, and you get
Definitely.
those like comp tickets and stuff. Can't go
Exactly.
wrong.
Exactly.
All right. Well, should we crack some beers here?
I already cracked mine open.
All right. Well, way to be
Sounds
ahead of
great.
us. Then, Bo, you go first. What are you drinking on?
I am drinking on Steady Eddie IPA. It is from Union Craft Brewing out in Baltimore, Maryland.
Huh? I don't know if
And
I've
it
had any of that.
has, yeah, it's my first time drinking it. I had a guy that I actually met this past weekend do a beer trade with me on top of a transaction that I'll talk about later today.
It
Um,
sounds like you bought drugs from this guy.
no, but I bought a bunch of video game stuff, and
Okay.
he hooked me up. So he gave me this beer. It's a 7% IPA, 80 IBU, serving temp 45 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know why the fuck they say that, but but it has like a famous baseball player on it called Eddie Monet, I guess. I don't know. It
Never
says
heard of
not,
him.
yeah, neither
Monet?
have I. Monet, yeah, Munay, I think, number 33. I don't know. Maybe it's a made up
Eddie
person, but
Eddie Money. Like
oh yeah, maybe it is.
well, is it
But
you have
it
an
says
Orioles uniform on?
no, he has the Union Craft Brewing Company logo on his hat, and he has a mustache and an afro. His mustache is connected to his sideburns. It's pretty dope.
That's
I'll take a
awesome.
picture of it. Yeah.
Yes, I need to
But
see
it says 19 grand slams, 3,255 hits, 504 home runs. I mean, this guy sounds like he's played baseball, but maybe it's totally made up.
I wonder if he owns the brewery or something.
No, definitely not. I don't
No?
think so. Maybe. I don't know. No. Either way, it's good. It's solid. It's if it didn't say IPA, I probably wouldn't consider it an IPA. Like to me, it tasted like a brown ale.
Hmm.
Um, like a caramelly, darker
Hmm.
roast of a beer. But it's good. It's solid. Like not hoppy in any sense.
So did the guy you met, was he from like the Baltimore area? So how he got
He's
this beer
from
or
he's from Maryland. Yeah, I think
oh, okay.
like Frederick, Maryland.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so right over the border.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I don't think I've ever seen that brewery like around here, so it must be like a
No, yeah. And
smaller down there.
he also gave me a can of Dew Claw unicorn farts or poop or something like that.
Oh
And
God, I love Dewclaw.
yeah, Dew Claw is great. It was like a sour pale ale that supposedly had glitter in it, like edible glitter, but when I
Oh,
cracked it open and poured it into a glass, there was no glitter.
Oh
But
my God.
it was still very tasty, and I drank that last weekend at my sister's house and shared it with her. But
Dude, the glitter in drinks is a thing that's happening right now. There's a
yeah.
brewery winery near us called Springgate, and they released glitter wine in the past
Ooh.
year. And I was there. I was there one time with some girlfriends, and we were just like hanging out. You know, like each of us was buying a bottle to split between all of us. And my one friend bought this glitter wine, and you could like swirl the glass, and it would look like a galaxy. Like it was just like spinning
Yeah, it's
around,
beautiful.
and like it was crazy. But I was like, this cannot be healthy. I mean, like it's wine, but like this cannot be good for anybody.
Yeah.
But
Yes and no.
oh well.
I see what you're saying, but I think they have it down to a science now, and I think maybe he was sitting on this unicorn poop or farts or whatever from Duclaw for too long that maybe the glitter dissolved, or I didn't shake it up, which you shouldn't ever shake beer up.
Right.
it's like
So
that
like
edible gold.
yeah, exactly. So like I could see wine working with the glitter a lot better because it's not carbonated, you
Also,
know.
can you just imagine every girl ever being like, "Oh my God, look, they have
Exactly.
Oh
glitter wine."
my god, every girl.
Every
Yeah,
girl.
Exactly.
Well,
every
apparently,
girl.
except for me, because I was just like, okay, cool. Like,
Paint it
but
black.
it was like a dark red. It was like a dark
Yeah.
red, but it was
Yeah.
good. So
Good.
cool.
So
All
what are
right.
you drinking on, Kelly?
Well, I was gonna let our guest go next
I want to
because
hear from you, Kelly.
all right, fine. I had hiding out in the back of my fridge one of my last Treehouse Brewing Company beers that I was
Ooh.
saving for a rainy day, and I figured, it's quarantine podcast, so I might as well use one. So I've got a Treehouse Brewing Company, Julius, which is their like essentially their like flagship beer. If I know I've talked about it before, but I did go to this brewery back in it's like November, October, something like that. When
Yeah,
my
that's
friends
getting
and I,
old.
yeah, my friends. Well, it doesn't taste old, I'll tell you that.
Okay, good.
My friends and I went up to Boston, and we stopped there on the way. At the persistence of one of my friends that was on the trip with us, and he said, "Oh, it'll be a quick stop, no problem, whatever. All right, that's fine. We're all into beer, so we'll stop and get some beer." It was an hour and 45 minutes that we waited to get beer.
Oh man.
But the thing is that this place is so like hyped up and so like well known in the craft beer scene that people just come there and buy cases and cases and cases of beer and then like resell them in areas because they don't distribute to like other places around, I guess. So the only way you can get it is if you literally go there. So that's why people were like people are reselling beer. But it was wild just to see the amount of people that came out with like hundreds and hundreds and thousands probably of dollars in beer just like
Wow.
and loading up their cars. It was nuts. But yeah,
Jeez.
it's a super good beer. It is a IPA. It's 6.8%. And it's just like a good solid IPA. There's nothing fancy about it, but it's also not like too bitter or anything. It's just like something you could sip on all day, I feel like, and just really enjoy the taste. So,
Cool.
yeah. All
Nice.
right. Let's hear from you, Christopher. What do you got?
So I will also hop on the IPA train because I am drinking what is called the wheezing juice. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, it's called the wheezing juice. It's got a pretty sweet can. It is brewed here in Grand Haven, Michigan. It's an India Pale Ale, and it is 6.5%. Just coming out of college, I am used to Natty Light for the last 4 years. So,
Mm-hmm.
but when I would need to kind of get a little more classy and drink a craft beer, usually IPAs are my go-to.
Cool.
There's a place here in Michigan called the Rochester Mills, and they brewed actually their own beer right in house at the restaurant. So my girlfriend and I would kind of go there on dates, and just IPAs are usually my go-to. I like them the best, but my college beer for the last 4 years was definitely Natty Light. And if you need a good cheap beer, Natty Light actually came out with Natter Days. I don't know if you guys have
No,
seen them.
Oh,
no.
I tried
We're
that.
not promoting
No,
this. We
I
are not
tried that.
promoting this on the
Why?
podcast. No. No.
Uh,
Gonna sneak it
but
in. Those are my favorite.
All right. Tell me
listen,
about this. What is it
let's
Na-
hear
called
it.
again?
What's what you
Natter
said?
Natter Days. It literally says on the can for those who love strawberry lemonade and drinking beer. It's
I hate
like
it.
it's delicious.
Did you try it, Bo? Have you had it before?
No, I just
Okay.
hate everything about it.
I got it one time because I was like, I should just try it because I do like fruity beers, but I was like, this is probably going to be terrible. I think it is probably maybe number one in the top 5 slots of worst beers I've ever had.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna
Yeah.
disagree with you. I don't even think I finished it. I was
Wow.
like, this is not really. It was, I don't know. It just didn't taste right to me. There was like barely strawberry, but just enough to be like somebody set a strawberry next to this beer
It's like they
while it was
whispered
Oh,
brewing.
strawberry into the can.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Somebody put they just sprayed like strawberry perfume around it, and then they were like, okay, here you go.
No, it's
But
definitely a cheap, crappy, like fruity beer. So like once you're drinking IPA and craft stuff and you go back to that, it's definitely not good, but it's a good college beer.
yeah,
I guess.
mm, I
I
couldn't do the
think I
natter
think
days.
once you turn 22, you're not going to ever look at your natty days. Honestly, you're going to be
I
like,
may or
"Why
may
the
not
hell?"
have gotten a I may or may not have gotten a 30 rack today.
Oh boy.
These
Well,
natter
you
days
better
are
drink them
still going
before
strong.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. My cheap beer, which I've said before on the podcast, is Rolling Rock. That's my low end beer, and I love it. Like, so I understand. It's just
Yeah.
Natty
Yeah.
Ice. It's
Everybody
gross.
has a low end beer that they like. Mine's Miller Lite. Like it's my palate cleanser. I had a 36
Yeah.
pack that I've been going through on quarantine between my craft beers that I have. Like so, I get it, and that was my go to in college was Miller Lite too. Like I mean, I had my Natty Lights and whatever,
Yeah.
but I if there was a Miller option, that was where I was. I like that much better.
Yeah, and I'm fine with Miller Lite too. I feel like that's a okay beer as well. How
The
much
other
is a 24 pack of Natty?
so I think the Natter Days come in a 30 pack, and
Of course.
I got it at Walmart today for $14.98 plus tax and deposit.
Yeah,
So that's
God
the
that's
thing.
bless
horrible.
So
America.
being in college, another one of my cheap beers is Budweiser. I'm big on Budweiser right now, especially like the 16-ounce aluminum cans are really good. But
Okay.
being in college, okay, so I picked up this 6 pack of the Wheezing Juice today, and it was basically the same price of a 30 pack of Natty. So it's like just the quantity to price ratio
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
is
It's ridiculous.
that's the only thing that kept me from kind of really exploring into the craft beer scene.
Well,
Yeah.
that's great. Like, I love that we're hearing the side of a college student that's also a gamer and collector care about the prices of beer so much, but is also hustling very hard when it comes to collecting and reselling and all that. So let's get into just talking to you about, your history of gaming, collecting, and all that.
Yeah.
Um, what what got you into gaming? You know, like what's your earliest memory? Like, what was the game that sparked the interest of being like, I want to play more games and I want to collect more games and I want to make money off this too?
So as a kid, I didn't really play a lot of video games. I was more of kind of the go outside kid. I was a Boy Scout. I played in the Little League for baseball and also basketball. So I was more going outside kid. The earliest gaming memories that I had was my grandma had a PS1. So when we'd go to her house, I would play Spyro, and I believe it was 1080 snowboarding. Those were the
Yeah.
two
Dope.
go-to games on PS1, and I just remember playing those anytime I went to my grandma's house. But then my fondest gaming, my actual like system that I put the most time into as a kid, and I think I enjoyed the most, was the Nintendo Wii. So I got it for Christmas
Wow.
one year, and that's just the system that really kind of started off gaming for me. And like the little that I did as a kid was the Wii, just Wii Sports, Mario Kart, things like that were definitely my go-to. My favorite Wii game though is the Bigs 2. It's a baseball game, and
Ah.
it's kind of you. It's I guess so. Kind of explain it kind of like Mario Superstars baseball, but like actual players and things like that. They're like there's power up swings and things like that. Overall, very well done
Okay.
baseball game on the Wii.
Hmm.
Okay.
Does that support like the motion control, or are you
Yeah.
like doing a nunchuck control?
Nope. So it supports the motion control, and you also use the nunchuck. So like you swing to swing the bat, you
Hmm.
throw to throw the pitch the ball, and the nunchuck is just used for kind of fielding balls, catching fly balls, and rounding bases.
Huh. That's interesting. I I I love baseball, like when watching and things like that, but I've never loved baseball video games. So I've never delved into like any sports,
Yeah,
game on any system when it comes to baseball
I
really.
agree. Yeah.
It's
I
cool to hear that did that in on the Wii.
yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. I would say sports games are kind of my go-to, which I know
Hmm.
whenever I'm collecting and reselling now, when I walk up on a pile of sports games, I'm mad at the world. But when I'm playing them, I like it and I enjoy it. And the Bigs 2 really kind of sparked that interest for me with the Wii.
That's
That's
cool.
great. Yeah, like you're shocking me in every aspect possible because you're not like already like with this answer. A, you grew up. I. It's so weird to me because you're 10 years younger than me,
Yeah.
right? So I grew up on the Super Nintendo, but also the original Nintendo. So to hear someone being like PS1 and Wii are my earliest memories, I'm like,
Hmm.
whoa,
Yep.
like that's crazy to think that way.
Before I
For
got into
me,
collecting, I had no idea what a Super Nintendo was, what an NES was, what a Sega Genesis was. I knew
yeah. So you never knew what a cartridge based system was then.
Yeah, you're a
no.
disc only man.
Yep. I
That's
yeah, no.
Wow.
oh
And
wow.
then yeah, and then most gamers and collectors will never say that their favorite game is a sports game. So that I mean, to me that's awesome. Like I love meeting someone that's not the cliche square in the box, even though we're not squares in the box. But you
Yeah.
know, like it's different. Like that's great. Awesome.
Yeah, definitely the Wii for me.
So what was your grandma playing on the PS1?
She never really played it. It was just kind of in her TV cabinet in the basement, and it was just there for when the grandchildren and the cousins came over. And
That's a good
did,
grandma.
she didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
games. She had 1080 snowboarding, Spyro, and there was one other game I just can't put my mind to it. But she probably had 3 or 4 games. But and I was younger at this time, so like you can kind of figure out what you're doing in 1080 snowboarding. You're just doing tricks and racking up points. But Spyro, it's just running around and like just kind of
Yeah.
remembering things. This just reminded me. I remember I also, as a kid, had a Game Boy Color. So the Game Boy Color was the big handheld that I had as a kid. And I
Mhm.
remember kind of driving home from grandma's house or doing whatever. And it's like, it wasn't a backlit screen. So you're leaning up against the window trying to catch passing by streetlights to see your screen.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'd play Mario World on that. But the game that I really played as a kid was Dragon Warrior on the Game Boy Color. And I
Yeah.
had no idea what I was doing. I just loved running around with the little monster guys following me.
It's
That's
a great
cool.
game.
I like
Yeah.
I like to imagine that your grandma was just like after you all left or like, you all went to bed or whatever, she sneaks downstairs, she pops in like Final Fantasy 7 and she's just grinding through an RPG like and then like your grandpa comes down like it's time to go to bed. She's like, "I'm in the
Yeah.
middle of something. It's gonna have
Exactly.
to wait."
Or she's playing the game that is their 1080 snowboard and be like, well, I need to get this 1080 before I go to sleep. I love it.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
that's great memories.
Yeah.
What so what got you then? Those were your earliest
Yep.
memories. Like what got you into collecting then?
So I've been collecting for about 4 years now and
Okay.
reselling for about five. I started off reselling by, I don't condone this. Me and my buddy would go to GameStop after hours and dumpster dive there, get a box full of stuff, and walk back in their door the next day or two and trade it back into them.
Oh my
So,
god.
Fuck yeah. Good for you.
so they
Way
threw
to beat
away
the system.
there's a GameStop right next door to another retro game store, and they would just throw away extra copies of games they had, controllers, systems, what you name it, they threw it out, standees, things like that. So we'd
I don't
go
understand that.
so we'd go back there, get a box of stuff together over a few days, and they trade it back into them, and whatever they want to take, we'd sell locally.
Oh,
So
That's
that's it.
amazing.
Stick it to the man.
Exactly.
so we
No
don't
wonder why they're going under business.
Oh god.
we don't do that anymore. But so yeah, that started off my whole like reselling thing. I got a local buddy here who has been my friend for years throughout high school, and he also collects too. So it's kind of nice that we get to do stuff together, that or garage selling, Facebook Marketplace deals, etc. But after about a year doing that and just kind of looking on Facebook Marketplace and going to garage sales, I'm like, this stuff actually has some value to it, and I like to play it. So for summer going into freshman year of college, I started collecting just to kind of have some stuff with me at college, and then also have a collection at home. When I went to college, every school year, I would bring my Wii, which you get people know also doubles as a GameCube, and I'd bring just your
Exactly.
classic party games. I'd bring Mario Party, Mario Kart, things like that to college, just so I had those games I could jam out with my roommates or friends on when we were bored or we had some time.
Dude, that sounds to the T exactly like my college experience.
Really?
Yep, we had a Wii in my apartment and my friend's apartment, and basically between all of my friends, those were the two apartments that we would like frequent, basically. Um, and we had Mario Party, we had Mario Kart, we had Super Smash, and that was all you needed. Like
Exactly.
you just set it up, you get your wave birds out, you get your nunchucks out, whatever you need, and then you're good to go. And there's either your pregame game that you can
Mm-hmm.
drink to, or just like it's Saturday and I have nothing to do, so let's just play like 6 hours of Mario Kart because my roommate and I would do that literally all the time.
Easy games that
Yep.
for the most part that people have played before. And if I like the thing I like about my collection was I had my collection with me at college for 2 years probably until it got too big. But my favorite thing about it would be when people would come take a look at it and they'd look at my shelves and be like, oh my god, I had this game as a kid, I haven't played it in forever, can we play this? Or oh my
Yeah.
god, I remember this. It was a great feeling for me to like know I had stuff that people were so sentimental to and they haven't even thought of in years.
Right?
Yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
the best feeling ever is like when you have someone over for the first time or whenever and they see your collection and being a gamer or not a gamer and they look through it and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like this is a game that I grew up on."
Mm-hmm.
It's such a great feeling and then it's like, "Oh, do you want to play this?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they're like, "Oh my god, this is so cool. I remember when I was a kid, my favorite game was blah blah blah. Do you have that?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's right here." And then they're like, "Wow, like I can't believe you had that," or whatever. And it's like, like Mortal Kombat for the Super Nintendo or something. And it's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, obviously, like it's a staple or whatever." Sometimes it's like a weird game and I'm like, "Maybe I don't have that one." But it is a cool thing and I can't imagine like being in college and taking this with me. I mean, I know mine's like, bigger than I probably would have been able to afford back then, but
Yeah.
like to be able to take that with me. I know like when I was in college, I didn't really start collecting per se until after. I had been buying games and stuff while I was in college, so I
Hmm.
was technically collecting at that point, but it wasn't like a serious thing. So like I would bring my Game Boy with me, I'd bring my PS2, and I'd bring my Wii with me to college. You know, my senior year I think was when I got the Wii
Yeah.
cuz I probably was at a good price point at that point. Um but it was like we would sit down and be able to play games and stuff, and then like on a weekend when I didn't want to, work on any work or anything, or I had time or I had a break in, between classes, I could sit down and play a game. So like imagining having a full collection at your dispense essentially while in college is just like so mind-blowing to me because I would have never thought about it back then.
Yeah, and my collection's not huge according like compared to some other people. Like taking a look at my Game Eye app real quick, where I have everything logged. I'm currently up to 825 games in my collection, so it fits
That's
nicely on.
pretty good.
It fits onto two bookshelves. They're getting a little
Yeah.
full, but it fits onto two bookshelves. And the thing I love about my collection is I've kept a log like since day one on like what I've spent and what I've made back. And my collection has been completely free. It's paid for itself multiple times over throughout the time. Just so everything I own is completely free in my collection.
That's awesome. I really wish that that's one thing I would have done when I started this whole thing, but I didn't really think I wasn't in that mindset when I started, buying
Mhm.
more stuff. And a lot of the stuff I already had from when I was a kid or whatever, so it was like I didn't pay anything for those, but that's such a cool thing is that you had the thought to start that immediately when you started
Yeah.
collecting. So that's really cool. I don't think a lot of people do that, but
No.
I definitely have mad respect for you for that.
Thank you.
Do you think that you had that insight because of the era that you grew up in?
What do you
That
mean?
more people were collecting at the time?
What do you mean for me? Like logging it monetary wise?
Yeah, and like just like keeping track of it and uh seeing other people being like, "Oh, this is worth this much, like let me
Yeah.
hold on to it." Whereas like when Kelly and I grew up, even though it was only 10 years prior to you or less, it was just like, "Oh, cardboard box, throw it out,"
Yeah. And that's
like I
how I was
think
as a kid.
things have changed.
And that's how everyone was as a kid. They get a new game, they rip into it, they throw out whatever. They don't keep the box for the system, and everybody wishes they could go back in time and keep that stuff. From a collection logging standpoint, I just always wanted to keep the log so I can keep track of how many games I had and what I have. So if I'm out at a store or a garage sale or something like that, I can quickly check if I have something or not. Um,
Okay.
but from a monetary standpoint, my girlfriend always would get on me and be like, "Why'd you spend $100 on this lot?" And I'm like, "Well, the lot's worth 600 or whatever." So just
Mhm.
more from
There
like
you
a
go.
personal standpoint of making sure I wasn't spending too much on my collection for like stuff that some of this, like you're not going to play all your games. So for some of the stuff that's just going to sit on the shelf, not spending too much. And I love the aspect of just how I get everything. I don't usually pay retail for really anything, and it just kind of it's like a thing in the back of my head where if like someone pays for a game and they get it for like $10 under retail, they think they got a great deal. Like I see in some Facebook groups or whatever. But on the flip side, I found Snow Bros at a garage sale for $3, and that's a $200 NES game.
Yep.
Yeah. You got lucky, boy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of luck in that for sure, but it's also a lot of you have to have a lot of hustle.
and
And
that's the thing.
yeah.
That's the thing I always tell to my buddy. It's like the hustle. It's like when people get mad if I like get a lot or get a good lot. I've even had people comment on my Instagram posts saying like the lies people tell on this app about what they pick up. And it's like, no, it's not lies. Like I check Facebook Marketplace every 30 minutes. I go to garage sales every Saturday. I'm up at 6:30, 7 a.m. to go to garage sales. Like I put in the hustle to go and find the stuff, and the people that like get mad are the ones that just are on eBay pointing and clicking and having it show up at their doorstep.
Yeah. No, you
Yeah.
gotta throw in the legwork and everything, and it's awesome that you do that because not a lot of people do. And um like I get where you're coming from. And Bo, I bet you do too. Like neither of us are strangers to reselling. In fact, I made it essentially my second job. Like I recently went in on a booth in an antique store. So because I was doing so well on eBay and selling on Instagram and locally and things like that, I thought, well, maybe I can save myself some time on, like, all the shipping bullshit,
Hmm.
and put it in a place. And because my fiance was like, there's all this stuff taking up all this room
Yeah.
in our house. So I was like, well, maybe I can get it somewhere, store it there, and kind of put it there and forget about it, and it'll make me money. And that's exactly what's happening. But I'm still up, on the weekends when it's not quarantine, out there looking at yard sales, going to flea markets. Like, I'm on Facebook Marketplace and, let go and offer up
Hmm.
and all that stuff every day, like multiple times a day, like looking for the next deal that I can turn into inventory there, or I can turn into part of my collection.
Yep.
So you got to be able to have that drive and that knowledge to know where to find stuff.
Hmm.
And like, if you show up at a garage sale and you see some video games, you have to know, like, is this worth it?
Yeah.
Is this Madden '07 game worth the $5, or should I pay $3 for the Snow Bros? Like, what's my better option here? What am I gonna, So yeah, I commend you for the hustle for sure.
That's a great point. What you said about when you walk up to a garage sale and just having the knowledge, because
Yeah.
I in my like when I'm packing packages or doing eBay listings, like I listen to just like kind of video game things in the background, people's recent pickups, YouTubers, things like that. I watch a guy on YouTube who owns a game store, so it's kind of just always listening and getting that knowledge. So when you do walk up to a garage sale and you say, "Hey, do you have any video games?" and they bring you out a box of stuff, most of the people who are just getting into kind of collecting and reselling are going to know to pick up your Marios, your Donkey Kongs, your Zeldas. But you
Hmm.
got to know those obscure titles and those obscure genres that you need to know to look for, that you know are worth money. And so you're not passing on those up. And then also just having the negotiation skills to get it for the
Yeah.
price that you want is a big thing.
Yeah, that's
And I
huge.
think I think when it comes to like garage sales or, even being at like a thrift store or whatever, and you're like, hey, do you have any video games? And they actually have a box that isn't out, or they do have a box that's out. It is all about negotiation skills, and it's all, how much for all of this without even looking.
Hmm.
Like you can take a quick glance at something and sort of know rough amount what it's worth, or at least you should if you've been in the game of buying and selling.
Exactly.
And if you see those GameCube titles, you're like, all right, cool, like I know that that's going for a lot right now. Or I see SNES or N64 carts, like, okay, that's going for a lot. Like Sega Saturn, sure, absolutely. Like, so it's all about buying as much as you can for the lowest that you can,
Exactly.
Hmm.
in hopes that you can add to your collection and sell and profit from you waking up earlier than everyone else.
Yep, I would say knowledge is the biggest thing. Knowing what things are worth. Even you're never gonna you're not ever gonna know everything, but just having just the knowledge to know what things are worth, especially looking for certain genres. Like I know if I see RPGs or if I see horror titles, those usually have a
Yep.
little more value
Yeah.
than other genres. So just small things like that to keep in the back of your mind when you're going through a box of stuff.
Yeah, you saying hard genres reminded me of this loose disc pickup that I got through my wife's like old classmate. She brought over a bunch of loose discs, someone that she went to high school with, and my wife hit her up through Facebook Marketplace and about something else like a 3DS
Hmm.
for sale, and she's like, "What else do you have?" And she's like, "Well, I have a bunch of GameCube and PS2 games." And I'm like, "Yeah, have her over. Have her come and bring everything over. Like that sounds great." Um and she did, and it was all loose. And I was like, "Ugh, fuck." Like this sucks, and everything looked so scratched up, and there were some Wii games in there too. But I'm looking at it and I see rule of rose, and I was like, "Oh, here we go." So I immediately run to my kiosk room where I have my only PS2 hooked up into its kiosk,
Hmm.
and I put it in, and it loads, and I wait for a while and it's still playing and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, what do you want for this? you know? And she's like, well, what do you want to give to me? And I'm like, fucking, like, I want to buy it all from you.
Hmm.
Obviously, you brought everything here. There's probably like 40 games loose and stuff. And I was like, well, a lot of these are messed up. I'm not going to go through all of these to see if they work or not. There are a few good titles in here that I'm interested in, and I'm willing to take the risk to see if they work or not.
Hmm.
Um, what are you comfortable with? And it was just back and forth. What are you comfortable with?
I
And
hate that.
I know, me too, because I never want to downplay anyone, but I was like,
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with spending $80 right now
Yeah,
on this lot. And she was like, that would make me so happy.
and
And I was like, awesome, cool, thank you.
that's the main thing. That's the kind of thing I run into too. When I'm at a garage sale and somebody brings out a box of games and say there is complete just RPGs and horror films, it's $1,000 lot. Some people are gonna get mad at me for this, but when I say how much and they say $20, I'm giving
Ugh.
them the $20. Like
Yep.
if they say a price and they're happy with it, I'm giving them the money. Um, I would
You're
even
making me choke.
I would even I would even offer I would even offer $20 for the lot. Like if they said how much would you pay, I'd say $20. If they seem happy with the $20, they're getting stuff out of their house, and I'm getting stuff that I want.
Yeah, and that's a great way to look at it too.
The one thing that I'm kind of like skeptical, like in your situation, if it's someone you kind of know, like
It's not someone that, like, my wife knew, and she wanted to make sure that I wasn't ripping her
yes,
off.
so like I'll put on my personal Facebook and be like, hey, I'm looking to sell game, I'm looking to buy games, and I'll kind of give a list, and then like I had like my girlfriend's aunt hit me up, so she brought over some games, and it was nothing crazy, but it's not wasn't like I'm not gonna rip off my girlfriend's aunt. So that's when
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
that's when I get into, hey, I'll kind of explain that this stuff is worth this much, but I'll give you 55-60% of value here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's nice.
Yeah, that's good to be upfront, but like I get what you're saying. Like I do the same thing. If somebody is like, okay, this is my asking price, I'm like, okay, that's how much money they want for it, and I'm gonna give them that. It's not like I'm gonna come at them and be like, oh, well, yeah, that's great and all, but you could be getting this much, and it's like, then you're like, what's the point? Like, you're not going to get the deal then because they're going to be like, oh, well, then I'll take this elsewhere or,
Exactly.
like whatever. So, like, yeah, you can be like, people can be like, yeah, you're being a dick. Yeah, but like, if you don't do your research before selling something, that's on you. Like, if you just want it out of your house or if you just want to unload something, like, whatever, that's up to you. Like, I don't know, like, I could sell like a whole box of like fine china or something for $5 because I want it out of my house, but
Yep.
somebody's out there collecting china and they're like, well, that's $300 worth of china. And I didn't look it up
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
I'm losing money. So it's like, it's kind of like I always say, like, do your research before you sell things. Like that's my biggest thing is do
Hmm.
your research. Do your research. I can't say it enough. Like if you're gonna sell literally anything, like make sure you're not, putting yourself on a chopping block there on losing money.
2 minute
Like,
eBay search. It
yep,
takes 2 minutes to do a quick eBay search. Like everybody doesn't know everything about every subject.
Less
Like
than that, yeah.
like you
yeah,
said, if you're selling China, it's like you don't know anything about it and you just want it out of your house. That's at garage sales too. If I ask somebody if they have video games and they bring a box out of their basement that's been sitting there for 10 years that they haven't touched in 10 years, and they're happy to get rid of it, and I'm getting stuff I want. It's a win-win.
yep, yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
absolutely. Yeah, I had a similar story. So as I've been doing this antique booth recently, my parents have never been into video games or anything, never been really into my collection. They're always like, oh, it kind of looks like a waste of money kind of thing, or whatever, or you're not outside or something. I don't know. Something parents
You're
would
not
say.
outside.
Something parents would say. You're not exercising. You're not eating enough broccoli. Um,
Yeah.
and I think as the years have gone on, because I would say I've probably been doing reselling for about 5 years now. Um, they're more like like interested, like that I got to this point where I was successful enough in selling locally,
Yep.
selling on eBay, selling on Instagram that I was gonna venture into brick and mortar, and they were like, well, so how's it doing? And then I'll tell them and it's going great, whatever. And they'll ask me like, what are you selling the best?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be like, well, right now it's vintage toys. I've been buying a lot of that's been selling great, and video games is always one of my biggest sellers. Because my mom was always like, well, if I can help you find anything, let me know. Because now that I have this brick and mortar spot, and I was like, well, if you ever have any of your friends, because her friends are at the age, where all their kids have moved out of the house and people are downsizing and whatever. I was like, if anybody ever is like, I've got a box of video games or whatever, like, let me know. I take a look at it, whatever. So she had one of her friends a couple months ago contact her and say, I have a box of my son's video games. Does your daughter want it? She can have it. Like, just free. Like, you can just have it. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'll absolutely take it. Whatever it is, like, it's video games, I'll take it.
Yep.
I didn't even know what it was. And she shows up at my house. My mom shows up at my house with this box, and it's a PlayStation 2, an Xbox 360, and like 10 to 20 games for each. Oh, okay. Controllers, whatever, everything works, cool. And I'm flipping through the games, and I like look at the box, and initially I'm like, oh, that's a lot of sports titles. Which, Christopher, I'm sure you're like, yes, but I'm like, oh. So I'm like, oh, that's a lot of sports titles. But then here we are at the beginning of this is like the beginning of the COVID-19 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking on, like, I'm doing my research. I'm on eBay, I'm on price charting, I'm on Game Value Now, whatever. I'm on GameStop. I'm looking at all the values that people are getting. And I'm starting to see, I'm like, I'm getting down, and I'm like, oh, okay. Because I could see, like, there's a couple PS2 titles. You got SpongeBob, Battle for
Battle.
Bikini Bottom.
Yep.
That's a
Yep.
good title. I was like, okay, well, there's at least, like $20 there. And then I keep going and keep going. And then I get to, like, I know NCAA 14 football was the big one.
Yep.
That's the, like, $100 one. And then I was like, here's 8. Here's 11. I was like, we'll see what I can get for this. I went on, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that the earlier ones are still worth a decent amount. Like, I sold one of them for like $60. And it was like, this is great. I got this for free. And like, my mom contacts me a couple days later, and she was like, so how'd that work out for you or whatever? And I was like, great. I've already sold half of it, and I've already made $200. And she was like,
Nice.
what? And I was like, yeah, like, it's lucrative, like, and she's like, that's insane. Like, she had no idea that, like, you could make this kind of money on these things if you know what you're doing, basically,
My
and you know
parents
how to ask.
my parents were the same way. When I first started collecting, my dad was like, "Why is this crap in my house? Why are you bringing home a van full of stuff from garage sales? Like, people are throwing this out. Nobody wants it." That kind of stuff. But like, once he started to see, like, okay, I'm actually selling this. Okay, I'm actually taking 10 packages to the post office a day and people want it. He kind of let up a little bit. And he's a delivery driver. So he'll be
Mhm.
out doing his route and he'll call me like, hey, I'm at a garage sale and they have these games. Are you interested? And he'll kind of read me off the titles or whatever. So he does that every once in a while. And then, like you were talking, don't be ashamed, like if you're collecting, to let your friends and family know you're collecting. Connections are going to be one of your biggest things. Because, like you
Oh yeah.
said, your mom's friend hit her up and said, hey, does your daughter want these? Let your friends and family know you collect because they don't think the
Yep.
stuff is probably worth anything, but they just have a box of stuff in their basement that they forgot about or don't know what to do with, and they're just looking to get rid of it. And they'd be more than willing to give it to somebody that they know. So let your friends and family know that you collect. It's only going to lead to good things.
Yeah,
And
and
your coworkers.
yeah,
Yes.
and even if you're not gonna get it for free or whatever, you can still, like you said, level with them, be like, I'll give you 50, 60% of value, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah, I just moved to a different location with my job. We moved from a salvage yard. I work at a salvage yard selling used car parts and stuff, mainly on eBay. But we moved the whole operation from the yard to a warehouse. So now I'm manager of the shipping area and stuff. And now I'm with other people that are working in the same room with me. And it's nice because I'm able to talk to people for the first time at my job. And so I've been talking about video games a lot. And I was telling this one guy, about video game prices and like pickups that I'm about to do and that I just got. And he's like astonished on like how much things are worth. I'm like, yo, like video games are up there right now in the market. Like it keeps rising. It's not going down. Um, so that prompted him to look through, I guess, his basement or attic, and he found a bunch of stuff. And came back today being like, "Yo, I found a bunch of GameCube games that I didn't know I had." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. Like, what GameCube games do you have? Like, are they loose discs or are they with the case?" And he's like, "Loose discs." He's like, "Oh, no, maybe they're not GameCube." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "They're cartridges." I'm like, "Are they round
Ooh.
cartridges?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, you got N64 games then. They're still worth a lot." Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, "What do you got?" He's like, "I don't even know." I'm like, "Bring them in right now." So hopefully he does. But I was like, even if you don't want to sell them, like, I'm down to praise them for
Yeah,
you, and
definitely.
then give you a price, like a reasonable price for them if you do want to sell them. And if not, that's fine, But like he was like being astonished that I sell stuff, like, besides like doing my daily job
Hmm.
that I do, that I'm also have this side hustle of buying and selling video games too. He was like, "Oh, that's great that you're doing extracurricular activities in that sense," And I'm like, "Yeah, like that's the only way that I'm able to support my habit of buying video games
Yeah.
is that I sell video games
Exactly.
too.
Yeah.
Like it's a give and take situation. Plus, I'm limited on room just like almost everyone
Yeah.
is. And that's a big thing is like you only have so much room. So really what what's a reason to collect anything for is A, you either love that game, or B, you feel like that game's going to go up in price.
Hmm.
So you want to hold on to it longer, and I guess that's the only reason. Or C, you want to go for a full collection, which only so many people have that much room for that type of collecting.
That's exactly
You
my
know,
thing. So with my collection, like I said, I'm up to 825 games, and it's quality over quantity. I know I said I was big
absolutely.
on sports games earlier, but I have very few sports games in my collection. Only the ones that are actually like sentimental to me. But I
Mhm.
am going for two full sets, and it's two of the, or I guess you can call it four full sets. But so I'm going for the N64, which is a small set, 296. I'm going for the Wii U, which is also a small set, which is like 166, somewhere around that range. I'm going for Virtual Boy, which is like 14, and then
Hmm.
But that end of it is pricey.
the end of it is pricey. And I found all those in the wild. I'm not buying any on eBay, so when I find Jack Bros at a garage sale, I'll do the happy dance. And then
That's the only game I want from Virtual Boy.
I'm going for Nintendo Power.
All right.
Cool. I sold or I traded a bunch of Nintendo Power, over 100 magazines that
You mean the
I
ones
got
that
from
I
you,
gave
Kelly.
you? Mm. How the turntables have turned.
All the turntables have turned. Yeah,
It's funny how that stuff works around though. Like,
it's
honestly,
crazy.
it's funny like that, you and I are in close proximity, so it's easy to, trade in and out all the time. And like,
Yeah.
some of my other friends that are local trade back and forth or whatever. But like, so much stuff I feel like I send out to Instagram people and I'll be like, they'll play it or whatever, they'll collect it. And I'm like, well, someday then they're gonna turn around and want to sell it
Hmm.
or whatever. Yeah, I don't care,
Quick question about
There's
Instagram.
nothing.
I know
Yeah.
Kelly, you
Yeah.
sell on Instagram a lot. Do you feel? I don't know about you, Bo. Um, do you feel like 90% of your packages go to California?
Yes.
So
Um, well, go ahead.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
A
so,
lot of
like
people.
90 is an over exaggeration, but I feel like a lot of my packages go to California, and I've been using Pirate Ship. I don't know if you guys use that, but I've been using Pirate Ship for about 2-3 months now, and they have a map of the U.S. on there where they can tell you like kind of the percentage by state of where your packages are going to. And I ship a good deal. I probably ship 30 to 40 packages a week. And
Mhm.
I just looked today, and like 30% of my packages go to California, which from Michigan is an expensive ship.
Oh yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah.
Selling on Instagram is. I don't know how long I've been selling on there. It's probably been like 2 or 3 years.
You
But when I
actually turned me
started,
on. You turned me on to
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah,
You were
you
one
were
of the
one of my
first.
first ones.
Yep,
Yeah.
you were one of the first people I followed on my personal account and bought from you, and then I ended up starting my Cousi.retro.games Instagram off of that.
Yeah, I remember you
Oh,
were you he has been he's one of the OGs. Yeah, there's a lot of people who were I will say valued customers because I don't know how else to say that. But like
My custies.
my custies, my crusty custies. Um, no,
Value customer is a nice way to say it, yes.
no, I started doing it, and it was like I guess to be like 3 years ago at least. And I remember starting it and like picking stuff up. It was when I was like, starting to sell some stuff that I would find at garage sales and things like that. And I remember my fiance being like, what are you doing? And then then he'd see me working for 2 hours in the
Hmm.
basement packing stuff and selling stuff. And then he'd be like, well, how much money are you making? I'll tell him. And he'd be like, well, shit.
Yeah.
And then he's also been like a huge force behind that because he, saw from what I was doing on Instagram and eBay, and he was a huge force to be like, yeah, you know what you're doing. Like, go out into the world and do this. Like, you make enough money doing this, like with the product that you have. Like, you need to do this more. Like, he was like
Yep.
telling other people that we know that yeah, this is super profitable. Like, she knows what she's doing. Like, and then it was kind of just like a push from there to go from virtual to real life. But Instagram was definitely like, I guess like technically eBay and then Instagram. I saw so many people selling stuff on there. I was like, well, why not? Like, you know, I I, I can't imagine what it would have been like if I had the community of Instagram, you know, when I was in college and
Yeah.
had the time and the energy to go out and do way more than I'm doing now. But like the community that we have there, it's very very receptive to people just being like, this is what I've got.
Yep.
This is what I'm asking. And they'll be like, yeah, done.
I
And
love
they're
selling on Instagram.
honest.
I
Yeah, it's honest people mostly. There are always some
Mostly, yeah.
the,
bad eggs, but the people I've dealt with are honest
yes.
and they're upfront and like they're quick. That's the other thing. Is like
That's the
nobody wants to
thing.
wait around for
No.
somebody to pay.
Yes.
And you can sit there on eBay and sell something and they won't pay for like 3 days and you're like messaging them on
I
eBay like,
hate it.
yo man, what's going on? And then you're like, Ghost Town Central, and you're like, I guess I'm canceling this order because I'm not
Yeah.
waiting 5 business days for
Yep.
you to respond or pay. So like the people on Instagram, it's like I give them like a 24-hour window. Within like 5 minutes, like 95% of the people have paid because
Yep.
they want this stuff. They trust, other people who are in the community with them. Like they know,
And
like
you're probably giving it to them at a lower price than
Yes.
eBay.
You don't have to deal
right,
with the eBay
exactly.
fees.
Yes, that's why. Yeah, I usually shave off a little bit from eBay and like it's like, as long as I can cover my shipping and like, not lose money on the product I
Yep.
bought, essentially, like I'll give it to you for a deal. I'm very flexible with people on Instagram. Like, we're all in the same boat. We're all collecting, like we all have goals. We all have things that we want to get. We all have grails. Like,
Yep.
let's make it happen for each other. So yeah, definitely Instagram selling has been probably one of the better experiences as far as like selling goes. Probably one
Instagram
of my
So
favorite
Instagram
ones.
for me has been one of my favorite selling platforms. I'm gonna get into another one in a minute, but my favorite thing about Instagram is when you sell on eBay, person buys, you ship it off basically into air. You never hear from them again. You never see from them again unless they're a repeat customer, and they leave you feedback. You're generic. They already have the feedback like to submit in the box. It's the same for every buyer. Thank you, great purchase, great eBayer. But with
Yep.
you know
Instagram,
what I get
what?
with eBay sales? Not
What?
to bump in, but I always put a precisely podcast sticker in with all my video game
Nice.
sales. And
Love the
then
marketing.
I write a hand note saying thank you, enjoy the
I do
game.
that too.
My wife my wife will be like, say listen to the podcast. I'm like, well, isn't it a given? She's like, not really. Like, even though it says precisely podcast with the Instagram like handle at the bottom right corner, like just say listen to the podcast. And the first one that I did that, a guy messages me back after he received the package of whatever game it was, and he was like, is this yours? And I'm like, is it mine? What? And he's like, your podcast. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm going to listen to it now. And I was like, thanks.
I do the same
Like,
Sweet.
exact
cool.
thing. I write on
Yeah.
I got a stack of common Pokemon cards. I write on the Pokemon card in Sharpie because it just kind of goes along with the video game theme. Hey, thank you for your
Yeah.
purchase. I hope you enjoy. I hope you're staying safe. follow my Instagram for more retro game content, Cousi.retro.games. I do that for all my eBay packages. But back to what I was getting about Instagram was when you ship something to somebody, they then post it on their feed or they send you a message, hey, I got the package. Thank you. It means a lot. Like, I've been meaning to add this collection. Just like you really feel when the person gets the package, you can tell that they enjoyed it. So that just makes it like more beneficial to me than just basically sending it into thin air on eBay.
Mhm. I
And
agree.
I don't know if either of you guys are on Discord at all. Are you?
We
We have a Discord channel actually for Precisely. So if you go to patreon.com/precisely and
plug, plug, plug,
and
plug, plug.
give us $1 a month, you can join that Discord channel. But yeah, right now only it's Kelly and me.
Join that.
Woo.
But so I'm in two retro gaming discords, and
Okay.
I'm a moderator in both. And the one has about, I would say, 250 members, and the other one is over a
Wow.
thousand. But we allow buy sell trade in there. And I don't know if you guys have, maybe Kelly's noticed, or you too, Bo, but I've kind of slowed my sales on Instagram, and I'm
Mhm.
posting like strictly in Discord, just from kind of a
Oh,
time perspective. On Instagram, it kind of takes a little bit of time to kind of like take a picture, write a caption, upload it. It just takes a little bit of time. Discord
yeah.
is so much faster to where I just snap a picture and write $7 shipped, and it just kind of increases that speed for me. And like like you said, Kelly, people like to get paid right away. You don't want to be waiting 3, 4 days, especially when you're selling stuff. You want the stuff out of your house. You don't want to be sitting on inventory. So selling in Discord or even on Instagram, it's so fast, and just the community of people is amazing. And you feel like people are really enjoying what they're getting from you.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah, for sure. Um, funny that you mentioned that, Bo, about the stickers though, because I've been studying the stickers and the stuff I sell on Instagram.
Good. Good. You should.
So also I'm gonna need some more, so
That's fine. We're probably gonna have to put in another order
let's put in
soon, but
another
that's
order.
fine. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the personal touch is super cool, and I don't put it into eBay because again, like you said, Christopher, it's like sending it into air. Like I don't feel that personal connection when I send it off to eBay. It's just like some person, especially recently, some person with zero feedback is
Mm-hmm.
buying this game. Like toodaloo, I'll see you never,
Yep.
and I'll get feedback and be all right, whatever. But if I sell my game on Instagram, I know it's going to Bo's game room, and he's gonna put it in his collection, which I've seen a picture of, and he's going for I don't know, a full set of Virtual Boy games. Yay. So, well,
I have
like
no virtual boy
no,
games, but
I'm
yes.
just
Yeah, all right. Yeah, yeah.
There's
go
only
with
Go
the
for it.
flow,
14.
man. Go with the flow.
Yes.
But
All right, I'm going with it.
so then I know that I've now contributed this copy of Jack Bros that I got at a garage sale for $1
Yeah.
to Bo's Virtual Boy collection that he's been working on for the past 6 months. And that was the last game he needed, and now it's complete. Yay, we can all celebrate.
Yep.
And I helped that happen. Like it's just a way more personal experience, and everybody that you're working with, and like I said, a lot of these people that I've met through Instagram, like I've met through selling and stuff
Mm-hmm.
too, and have followed them because I've been buying, selling, trading with them for years. So
Exactly.
it's super cool that like now, you and I met you selling stuff, and now here we are recording a podcast together. Like it's just like cool little things in the world that come together. So I definitely love selling on Instagram. I think it's way more I guess it's just way more
Personal.
yeah,
Yes.
and
And
it's more refreshing.
you do sell a little bit lower. So some people might be scared away. Oh, I can sell more on eBay. Why would I sell on Instagram? But I like the feeling of hooking somebody up, and you're not dealing with the
Yeah.
10% in eBay fees. And I would say, from me personally, 95% of people pay friends and family on PayPal. So you're not dealing with the 2.9% fees in PayPal. So by
Yep.
selling on Instagram or in Discord, you're automatically alleviating 13% in fees.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I'm actually on the opposite page of both of you guys.
All right, let's hear
I
your wrong opinion.
wrong opinion. Okay. It's just my opinion. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no
go ahead.
argument about it. But I sell a lot on eBay and I post a lot on eBay, and the reason why I use eBay is because of buyer and seller protection.
Mhm.
Um Also because I don't want to flood my Instagram with a bunch of buy and sell posts. I I guess I care too much about what I post on Instagram. Um
You
that
have
my
an
feed.
aesthetic.
Yeah, I
It's
do
a
have an
nice Instagram
aesthetic.
page.
Thank
I
you.
I
Like
I just throw my stuff on the ground and hope I don't get my toe in the picture.
yeah, right.
Ooh, and
And
then
when
you
I
could charge extra for foot pictures because you
well,
have
and
to
that's
pay
the
for that.
thing, when I get my toes in the picture, I get a bunch of horny old men being like, "I'll pay you $9,000 for more feet pic," and I'm like, "All right, give me
Yes.
$9,000, and I will gladly give you as many feet pics that you want."
Oh my
They're
god,
like,
yeah.
"Well, you got to give me $30 first," and I'm like, "All right, now it's gonna cost you
Has
$100
this actually
first,"
happened?
and then yes, it has actually. Like last month, when I posted my first, not first, but most second to most recent bathtub picture with my feet. And this and yeah, dude, mad people DM me being like, yo,
No.
here's
No,
a
they
thousand
didn't.
bucks, here's 9,000. Yes,
No.
yes, you can read the comments.
Oh god.
And so
No.
I told my wife this, and my wife is like, yeah, you should hit them up. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to say. And she's like, it's $9,000, Bo.
Pay
Fucking
the
talk to
mortgage
them.
off. Pay that
Yeah, and
mortgage off.
I'm like, okay, well, here's my phone. You message them. But before that, I actually hit up my buddy John, who's a gay man, the lone wolf on Instagram. He's an awesome guy that I actually met at Too Many Games last year. And he's like, yeah, $9,000, definitely get that. Like, hustle them feet. And I'm like, all right.
Dude, I don't
So,
even know if I've ever looked at your feet. Are your feet that like good looking?
my feet are disgusting, Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't know if I've ever like consciously looked at your feet and be like, these are
You
what
don't
those
want to
feet look like.
yeah, you don't want to even zoom in. I don't know if they're disgusting.
9K
But
is 9K.
either
Yeah,
way, yeah.
anyway.
So I messaged the guy back about the 9K, and he's like, "Well, before I trust you, baby, you got to give me $30 through Cash App." I was like, "Bitch, before I trust you, you got to give me $100." And he was like, "All right, I'll drop it to 20." I'm like, "You just went up to 200, so pay up, motherfucker." And he stopped contacting me, so it was a scam.
Yeah.
Like whatever. It,
Man,
it's besides the point.
so thankful I haven't had that.
The point is that my wife wanted to pimp me out
Go, Kayla. Go.
for my feed pictures. Yes, but no, I do like selling on eBay because you are just going into the air. You're not, people aren't judging. I feel like I judge a lot of people that sell on Instagram, and not necessarily you, Kelly, and not necessarily you, Chris, because you guys have your own like pages for that. Kelly, especially you,
Yeah.
like it's not on your main page.
You don't want to clutter your
But
feed. I
I
get that, and
I
that's why I did
delete.
yes,
that.
So once I sell something, or once I sell something, I delete the post. That's just how I personally do it. I know Kelly, you
yeah,
have your separate page specifically for claim sales.
But the same thing when I sell something, I archive it on my post. So if I ever need to go back and look at it, I can. You know,
Ooh.
like for posterity's sake.
Yeah,
Oh no.
yeah,
But yeah,
archiving is a good
same,
idea.
same thing
yeah.
though.
Archiving is a great idea because, like, so the only game that I actually sold on Instagram without a raffle, right? I was drunk one night. I was like, I got this fucking expensive ass N64 game. I've had it on eBay for I think $220. What is it called? Stunt Racer
Oh yeah.
64 or something or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is. Dumbass game.
Yeah, stunt racer.
I got it for fairly cheap, actually, through an Instagram sale, buying something else and throwing that in with it. So I got
I
both
remember
these
that.
things for. You remember? Oh yes, yes. I
I hit
actually
you
did
up about it, or
contact you.
we were talking about it over something. I
Yeah,
remember
I think
that.
yes, yeah. I was contacting you about that. I
I
forgot
remember
about
you
that.
bought it off. Yeah, okay, I remember the conversation now.
Yeah, yep. And I was like weary about it because I
Yep.
was like, this is too good of a deal right now, and he's not giving me tracking, he's not hitting me back, and you're like, just be
Yeah.
patient. And I'm like, okay, all right, thanks.
I think it was like
Thanks for
you hit me
being
up after like
the
12
reason.
hours.
Yeah. So either way, like didn't even play the game. I was like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna sell this so I can keep this one thing for free that I bought. Um, so it didn't sell on eBay for like 2 months or a month. And I got a little impatient. I was like, I'm just going to throw it up on Instagram. And I think I said like 190 shipped right now or 200. And one guy messaged me being like, I'll give you 180. And I was like, I got to do 190. And he's like, 187. And I'm like, all right, it's yours, whatever. Like, that's fine. That was the only thing I've ever like sold directly, I think, on Instagram, besides raffles. And raffles, I'm so like hit and miss with because I don't want to overload my page with them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even though I have these great things for sale, I don't want to be that guy because I feel like people hate it so much.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys want to get into that topic, but how do
Yeah,
you guys
Sure.
let's
feel?
do it.
How do you guys feel about the raffles on Instagram? Because I just ran one today, and
I did see that.
I filled the top loader raffle in an hour.
Yeah. That was a good raffle, and if I didn't just get one recently, I would have joined in because I needed a top loader.
What was it?
It was
It was a top
Top loader.
just
NES.
NES top loader.
Okay. What? How much spots and how
So it
much?
was came with cords and controller, and I did 10 spots at $10 per spots at 14 spots.
Okay.
Was it the dog bone controller?
No, I actually kept the dog bone controller for my collection. So when it comes to raffles, I guess it's known that you can get a little more if you're doing a raffle, and that's why most people do it. But I don't
Mhm.
overdo it. Like I would see some people doing like this. I would not be surprised if I saw somebody doing $10 per spot. I had 22 spots for this top loader, and people would
Yeah.
fill it. And I
Mhm.
personally don't join in a lot of raffles because I'm not a gambling man.
No.
But I mean, they're good I do them every once in a while. And I know there's a lot of stigma around them right now on Instagram, but if they're filling and you can get what you're asking, I would say why not?
Yeah.
Yes. Whenever I do raffles, I try to keep it around the price that it's
Hmm.
worth. Um, because that way it does fill. I've had to close a lot of raffles where people just aren't interested enough. Where I'm just like, all right, fuck it. I got 3 people, but I don't ever collect money until it's filled or close to being
Yep.
filled.
Mhm.
So that way I can just cancel the raffle, like close it out and be like, hey guys, sorry, like I didn't get money from you anyway,
Yep.
so it's fine. Um, but another question. So it just had 2 NES
Nope.
controllers or just
Just
one or
NES top loader, one regular controller, power pack, and AV cable or
Mm.
RF cable.
okay. Did it have the RCA mod?
No,
Okay. So I have one that has the RCA mod, so that's going for a
that's a
lot
little.
more.
Yeah, that'll be
All
go
right.
for. But I filled it $10 per spot, 14 spots in an hour. So I'll run it tonight after this podcast. Like I said,
Dope.
I go on random.org. I do the third click. I go live on
Yeah,
Instagram and run it, so people know it's legitimate because I'm live, and that's just how I do it. And I mean, it's gonna cost me $13 to ship out or whatever in a medium flat rate box, and
exactly.
somebody's gonna win it for 10 or $20, and they feel really happy about it. And if it's filling, like why not do it? And now I don't like the people who are overdoing it and maybe doing 3 raffles a day and like
Yeah.
It's
a
ridiculous.
$40
Yeah.
game valuing at like 80 or whatever. But I mean, if like I said, if people are willing to spend their money and on the spots and it's constantly filling, how can you turn that down?
Yeah, I agree. As long as you're an honest person about it though,
Yes.
I don't see any problem with it. And as long as you're shipping things out pronto,
Yep.
like that you're acting like this is your job. If it is your job or not your job, like you're still treating it as the customer comes first,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
That's all that matters then. And with all my raffles, I made sure that shipping tracking number came out the next morning, right
Exactly.
before I went to work,
I
Yeah.
go,
and I would contact my boss the night before being like, "Hey, I'm going to be coming in a few minutes late because I got to be at the USPS station at 8 a.m. As soon as they open their doors
As soon as the post office
to
wakes up,
yeah,
you know, as it opens its
as soon as
eyes
they
on the
wake up.
little
You know what's
eagle.
funny though is that the Lemoyne post office, they'll be there and I'll be right at the door and they'll look at me like at their desk and they won't open it until it's 8:01 no matter what.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm just like, you motherfuckers, like, you are not filing papers right now. Like, you see me right here. I got one package that needs to go out. Come on now. But
So
yeah,
with the raffles,
either
yeah,
way.
I go live. Like raffles are the one thing where people want to know you're legitimate. With claim sale, it's okay; they can do kind of goods and services, but you don't do that during raffles. I go live. I even post the that I printed the shipping label on my story, and it goes out. And I mean, when the person kind of posts on their story that they get it, I repost that on my story. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
One thing that I've been doing with shipping, and I don't know if you guys do it, was I've been doing USPS is pickups. So I just go on
Mhm.
USPS.com, schedule a pickup, and they pick it up right from my doorstep when they come and drop off the mail during the day.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I work in the shipping department for used car parts with my
Hmm.
business. So I have a giant bin always that, on a Monday, I can be bringing in 5 packages from sales from eBay or whatever. Like today, I sold 5 PS1 Army Men games with 3 manuals
Hmm.
or guidebooks. Like, who needs the guidebooks for Army Men for PS1? I don't know.
Not
But
many people.
it was off this PlayStation lot that I bought a couple weeks ago, and finally it sold. So I'll be doing a media mail package and putting it in the post bin
That's so
for
nice.
work. But what's also nice about my job is that I can use my boss is an amazing person, a friend that I grew up with. But he has great connections with FedEx right now that I can ship through FedEx and literally anywhere, like to California, up to like 10 pounds is like
Wow,
$10.45.
that's
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
That's so
that's
Yeah.
clutch. 'Cause shipping prices
So
just
clutch.
keep going up.
Insane.
And if
So,
people don't know, you can use paypal.com/shiplabel/create
yes.
to print discount shipping labels. Or PayPal was kind of giving me a little bit of trouble recently. It was giving me kind of error messages. I don't know if they fixed it, but I've been using pirateship.com, and that also gives you discounted shipping rates. And I like to use
Okay.
Pirate Ship for boxes that aren't priority mail, just like your normal brown box that you're shipping somewhere, because it calculates it on like a cubic rate. So it's usually
ah.
cheaper than doing PayPal because there's different zones. They do it by cubic rate. It's really weird, but if it's saving me money, I like it.
I gotta look into
Yeah.
that. I've heard a lot of things about Pirate Ship,
It's
and
it's
I
it,
use the PayPal
yep,
ship, and that's what I've been doing for years, and it's never given me any trouble or anything. But yeah, I've heard good things about Pirate Ship, so I definitely have to check it out.
definitely.
Um,
It's great, and like you have the little reports tab where it tells you where your packages are going, which is also like cool. Just kind of see like, okay, I'm shipping to this state the most or whatever, and I love the website. I've been using, and it autofills addresses too. So Kelly, if I ship to you, say like
oh,
today,
that's so
and if
nice.
I go to ship to you next week, if I type in like KEL for Kelly, it'll autofill your address.
Oh, that's so good because like, we said before, I have a lot of repeat customers on
Yep.
Instagram, and I'm like, I know like I basically like memorize like three-fourths of your address
Yes.
essentially. Like I'll know that it's going to this state and maybe this street, and that's it.
Yep.
But like it'd be so nice to have the autofill
Definitely. It
option.
just saves time when you're. I know you do a lot of packages, so it just saves that couple seconds per package, but it adds up over time.
Yeah. Um so I was gonna circle back onto the raffles and give my 2 cents because I literally never run a raffle on Instagram. And I sell a lot on there, which I don't know if that's surprising or not. But I've never run a raffle just because I feel like I don't know. I don't know if it's going to do well, like I don't know if that's what people want in a raffle. I don't know if, we talked about how people get upset with raffle prices sometimes. I don't know if somebody would get upset that I'm asking that much for a raffle or whatever, if they feel like it should be more or less or whatever they feel like. I just feel like it has too many variabilities where people could get, mad about it. Whereas, like, when I do a claim sale and somebody writes claim and they're the first person to write it, yeah, maybe, or they're 30 minutes ahead of somebody else, they have the first claim. Like, that's the person. Like, there's no disputing it. Whereas the raffle, it's like, you all have a chance, and then
Mhm.
somebody's gonna get butthurt about losing, and it's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Yeah.
So I think that's like mostly what keeps me from doing it. And also it's like I don't I don't know who wants who wants what raffle. Like I have some pricier things right now. Like I don't know if people would want that on a raffle or not, or whatever. Like so it's just weird to
You
I
just
don't
gotta
know.
go
I
for
just
it. Just go
yeah,
for it.
When it
never done it. I don't know. And I also am super picky about which raffles I do join because Bo, I know you tag me in a lot of stuff like, when it comes to like giveaways or
I just
whatever.
tag you into everything.
No, I know, and
That's
I
it.
respect that
Yeah.
because I do that to you too whenever I see something I want because, we have that friendship where we can be like, we're
Yeah.
just using your tag for the entry. But like I'm really particular about what I enter. So like you could be like, we're having a giveaway for this copy of Super Mario RPG, and I'd be like, oh, I really need that. So I'm not gonna
Yeah.
enter, but good luck.
I'm the opposite.
Peace
I
out.
I enter to enter, and if I win it, I'll resell it.
Yeah, I've thought
Yeah.
about that, but I'm just like, I don't want to waste, like the probability of me losing is high. I'm like, I don't want to waste. I'm not a gambler. I'm not. That's not me. I get mad when I
That's
go.
how I
I was
am.
I
talking.
get
Yeah,
mad
I was
when I go to the casino and spend $20. I'm like,
yeah,
I could have
I'm
bought
the
two
exact
things.
same way. I was talking from a like giveaway. I'll enter every giveaway, but raffles,
Oh yeah,
I'm
giveaway.
I'm
Yeah.
very I've entered very few raffles, and usually it's like the $5 and under spots are the ones I'm entering.
I also feel
Well,
like
we
oh,
talking about
segue,
giveaways.
segue.
Yeah, real quick.
Woo,
Talking about
woo.
giveaways, this would be a good time to put out our secret code for our giveaway, which is a mystery box of a bunch of games, $100+ worth of video games, which you're welcome to enter, Chris, if you want
Need a
to.
pen.
But either way, I'm gonna actually I don't know if you can enter it because I'm gonna have you say the code word, whatever the code word comes in your head, you say it,
Whatever code word
and that
comes in my head, I'm
Yeah,
saying it.
yeah. Just think of
yes, and
anything.
All right, you
anything,
ready?
and then yes, we're ready.
Brazil.
Brazil.
All right. So Brazil is a code word that you got to DM us at Precisely Podcast for your third entry for our giveaway. We'll have one more on our 50th episode of Precisely.
Woo.
Oh,
Um, yeah, exciting stuff. But yeah, Brazil. Thank you,
no
Chris.
problem.
All right, let's go back to it. Do we remember what we were talking about?
I was talking about raffle.
Okay.
But yeah, so with entering giveaways, the other thing is I guess I have a weird morality. I feel like I'm not going to enter it if I don't want it because if I do win, then somebody who actually did want it didn't win and I just got it and I feel like weird about that. So I don't usually enter in giveaways unless I do really want the item. But raffles, I'm also super particular about entering. Usually, I only enter raffles of people that I've been following for a while or like trust or, know the person or whatever. So I know it's legit. And it's got to be something that I want. Like the last raffle I entered and I did win was when Papa Pixel raffled off his Game Boy Pi um,
Yeah, that
which
was a
is
good
it
one.
was a great win, honestly, it's a great system. But, I was like, "Oh, you know what? That would be really cool to have," and for, like, whatever it was, $10, whatever, yeah, I'll throw in a spot, he's a good dude, I know him, and, if I win, that'll be cool, and I did, and I was like, "Oh, this is great," but, like, I maybe had entered one, like, maybe 6 months before that, like, I don't enter them often, so that I guess that's also why I don't really feel the need to run them is because I don't enter them in as
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I just don't see I don't personally see the draw, so I guess I don't really want to run them because I'm not drawn to it. So I guess I'm on the opposite side of raffles
What do
than
you
So
what
Kelly,
do you guys
yeah, I was gonna say if you're ever weary about running a raffle, what I do is I'll kind of post a picture of what I'm gonna raffle on my story, maybe 12 to 24 hours before I'm gonna raffle it.
Mhm.
I would say, hey, would you be interested in a raffle for this $10
Mhm.
per spot, 10 spots? And I'll throw the poll sticker up, yes or no.
That's
And then
smart.
whoever votes yes, then when I post the raffle, I then tag them in the photo. So they kind of already showed interest. So I'm hoping that they'll actually join the raffle then.
Yeah. Okay.
And when it comes to raffles, for the ones that I've done, it's only the rare items that someone can't afford
Yes.
right away, or that you just don't see in the wild that often,
Right.
or you've wanted this item, but you're not gonna get it for the price that you want to get it for?
like a
I
top
remember
loader. I've like
yeah.
people don't come across those often. But then
No,
a
they
game that
don't.
I also found that people really want is Conker's Bad Fur Day on
Oh, yeah.
N64. I ran like 3 of those raffles in a row, and I had $7 per spot, 11 spots, so it was valued at 77. And what I did was just go on eBay and throw lowball offers of 50 at everyone I could find, and some people
Mhm.
would accept. So I mean, I'm profiting $27 on each one, but I mean that's a quick $27.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then shipping with it, you're
$3.
looking at a little bit,
Like, yeah,
$20 to
20
do a
plus
raffle.
bucks.
Yeah.
It was just, and like they were filling in the half hour, 45 minutes for
Yeah.
quick, 20, $23 profit. I mean, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So is this your full-time job?
Right,
Is buying and
right now it
selling?
is. So all throughout college, I worked
Okay.
on campus and had an internship. So I was working, doing classes, but also buying and selling on the side. Um, when
Good.
I'm buying and selling, I'm like I said, I'm checking Facebook Marketplace every 30 minutes or so, just when I got time. Just it's a quick refresh, scroll through, see if I can find anything. I'm checking Letgo. I'm going to garage sales. I don't know how it is for you guys, but garage sales here in Michigan before all Corona are Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and
Mhm.
they usually happen during the summer, obviously. And I worked Monday through Friday every summer, so I was unable to go Thursday and Friday. But on Saturday, I'd kind of get up early, try to track down the ones that started on Saturday, or go to garage sales and try to. When you're going on Saturday, you're basically getting scraps unless you find new ones. And every garage sale that I go to, I kind of peek around and I go up to the person running the sale. Hey, by any chance, do you have any video games I'm looking for? And I give them a list of systems. Every person at every
Mhm.
garage sale. I don't care if you, like I said, I went to one garage sale when I first started collecting and reselling. Old couple had couches and lamps out. Nothing of
Mhm.
value that I was looking for. But I said, hey, do you have any video games for sale? And I gave them a list. And the guy goes, oh, I got one N64 game. And I'm like,
Mhm.
great. Goes inside, pulls it out, sealed copy of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And I'm like,
No.
oh my God. And I'm like, how much do you want? And he goes, I don't know, make me an offer. Me being the guy I am, some people are gonna hate this. I said, I'll give you $10. He was more than happy to take it. I even handed him a 20 and said, do you have change?
Oh my
Did you sell it or do you still have it?
I sold it the day after for 200.
there you go.
But that was
Oh
that
my!
was 4 years
Do
ago.
you realize how? Yeah. Do you realize how much that's
Yes,
going
that
for
was
right
that was
now?
that was 4 years ago. So I kicked myself. That was strictly when I was reselling, not collecting. But as a reseller, if you can turn 10 to 200 in 24 hours, you're having a good day. So I'm just
Yeah, for
mad
sure.
at myself now. But like I go to garage sales. I ask everybody, "Do you have anything?" I try to stay away from estate sales unless I'm just really desperate because it's usually a company running it and they look everything up. But I've had a
Mhm.
few good scores at estate sales. But Facebook Marketplace is usually my go-to. Um,
So brand new, you're looking at $900 to $1,500.
really,
Yo.
Mm-hmm.
wow! I wish I would have got that. Speaking of
Ah,
sealed,
Yep.
I went and picked. I saw this guy posted a
Hey, I saw this actually. Super Smash
Yeah,
Brothers.
so
Yeah, keep
he
going.
posted a on Facebook Marketplace. He posted a GameCube with 3 games: Smash Bros, Mario Kart, and I want to say Mario Party 5 for 80. Messaged him, "Hey, I'll take it." Or I said, "Hey, is it still available?" He then changes the price to 120. And I'm like, "Hey, why'd you change the price to 120?" He goes, "Sorry, I did some research. It's worth a little more." I go, "Well, would you take 100?" He goes, I always said, "Would you take 90?" He said, "I'll take 100." I said, "Deal." I go, "What's your address?" He ends up being in my own sub. And I'm like, "Okay, this is sweet. 4 minutes away." So I drive to his house, talk to him on his porch, or give him the $100. I looked in the bag and I'm like, I just see the silicone wrap or whatever. I'm like, oh my God. And I get, because those 3 banger games, and I get in the car and I
yeah,
pull out Smash Sealed, and I'm like, wow, because you just couldn't tell
there
from
you
the
go.
picture. So I mean, I made my money back in that lot plus profit, and I've never sent a game to WADA before, but I sent Smash off to WADA about a month ago, so it should be coming back soon. But a free sealed Smash Bros Melee.
There you go. That's good.
And how much is that going for? Do you know?
Corona kind of spiked the price. I saw
Oh
a
yeah.
couple of them going for about 500. But I think price charting has it around 200. It was Black Label, but it is the bestseller version. But I
Mm.
Yeah,
mean,
I see one newly listed right now for 300 brand
but I
new.
mean, if it's quote unquote free, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
one got a 9.6 rating from Wada for 850 bucks it's listed
Mine
for.
had a small pinhole on the back seal, which is going to hurt the grade. But I know WADA
Yeah.
grades it like they grade the seal and then they grade the box, like two
Mhm.
separate grades. So, I mean, the seal should hold, I think the seal is out of like an A, B, C, D scale. And then the grade is actually out of like a 10-point scale.
Yeah, I've been meaning to send some stuff to Wada as well,
It's
but just
expensive.
really, how much is it?
I was, so for the 30-day turnaround, I think they have like 1 day turnaround, and then they have like 1 day
Ugh.
turnaround, which is expensive, and then
Oh
and then
god.
they have like
Yeah.
30-day turn. They have like 1 day, 15-day, 30-day, and like 180-day or something like that. So I did
Ew.
the 30-day turnaround, and I was all in $70.
Huh.
Are you
Yeah,
serious for one
but they
game?
charge you like $20 in return shipping because it's got like $300 of insurance on it.
Yeah, it's what you value it
Yep.
at. Yeah. Damn, that's
I even
crazy.
undervalued it to get the return shipping down, but
Well, I
seven
was gonna say,
Wow.
Bo, we could. I mean, when we go to too many games, I'm pretty sure they have a booth that they can do something there. If you,
Okay.
I think you can get things graded there.
they do
Or
it. Do they
What do
do
you
it on the spot?
I don't know because I've never gotten anything graded.
I think
I've
they
never been.
did, but I think they're going to be
Oh my
overran
god!
with it this year
I do
like
baseball
crazy.
cards too, and sending into PSA to get baseball cards graded. Like PSA has been closed due to Corona, so they're slowly starting to back up. So they're slammed. But I know VGA for games was also closed, but WADA was open, and
Mhm.
there's so some of those companies going to be so overrun. But it is expensive to get a game graded, and I'm not going to turn around and flip it. It is something to sit on my shelf and kind of like ponder, like look at, because Smash Melee is one of the most iconic GameCube games ever.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I've actually been thinking about when buying video games now is what is going up in price? What are the great games that people
Mhm.
will want, in the future that are cheap now, and it's the great games that are super fucking cheap right
Do you know
now
Smash Melee
too.
is the most selling GameCube game of all time?
No, I did not
It
know
is.
that.
Which
I
Believe
which
it.
I could say
normally
that,
when you
yeah.
see like most selling of all time, cheap game, but that game still holds $50 to $75 in value.
Any game with Mario on it though will
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
because they're playable and they're well done games. But yeah, I just recently bought Link to the Past for SNES for CIB.
Hmm.
Uh very clean box with manual and with the map for a decent price. Was able to talk the guy down, and it's because I know that game probably in 5 years with how the market's going is going to triple in value,
And
like
these
easily.
Corona prices have spiked things like crazy.
Yeah, I sold off my whole N64
I
collection because
I
of it.
thought about it. Like 'cause I'm going for the full set 'cause I thought about it, but Mario 64 on N64 was a $20 to $30 game before Corona.
Yep,
It's fetching
Mhm.
$50 now. I couldn't give
yep.
away Wii systems last year for $30.
Yep.
I'm selling Wii systems on eBay for 150 to $200.
Yeah. I just sold one locally for like 65, just like basic one
Yep.
controller.
I sold a Wii
Yeah.
system locally last week. Wii system, Mario Kart, and Wii Sports for 100.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's weird the stuff that people are buying right now. Like it's crazy that the prices have jumped in the fashion that it has, but it also in a similar sense it kind of sucks because like right now like I'm selling like I cannot keep an NES on my shelf at my brick and mortar store.
So
Like
locally,
yeah, I cannot keep an NES on a shelf. Like it'll sell within like a couple days.
A
what do you have them
system
priced at?
or a game.
Well, I had this was before Corona. It was like $70,
Wow.
and it was like controllers and cables, you know. And then I had games separate, you know. And then it was like I couldn't keep them on for more than a couple days. So I was trying to buy NESs, but the thing was, and especially right now, is I was trying to restock because it was closed. The physical location was closed due to the coronavirus. So we weren't having any incoming people. People were just like doing curbside pickups or whatever if they scheduled something. But like I was like, when we reopen, I want to be able to have a good stock of stuff. So when people are coming back in, like
Hmm.
blah blah blah. So I'm out here trying to find NESs and I can't find them for like any less than like people are like, here is one system with one game for like $150. I'm like, bro.
Wow. Before Corona, I was selling locally NESs like system only for like $40 locally, and I was lucky to get that. But now during Corona, I'm selling NESs with Duck Hunt for like $80 locally, and they're flying
Mhm,
off the shelves. They're starting to slow down a little bit with kind of the stay-at-home order being lifted, but they're
mhm.
they're still hot. The one game that's shocked me, and I don't know if you guys have heard about it, is Def Jam Fight for New York on PS2.
Yes.
I
That
have
is one of the more expensive
I
ones,
had
yeah.
that in my collection. Before Corona, that was a $70 game. On eBay,
Mhm.
it's going like 150 to 160 now.
Mm, that's nuts. Yeah, I think my one that I during Corona that I was like, damn, was the Animal Crossing for GameCube.
Oh
I
my
know I said
god.
it before on here. It's like almost $100 game, and I remember selling multiple copies
I
of
think I
it in
talked
the
to you
last
about it.
couple years. Yeah, for like $20,
Yep. I
$30,
sold a
and now it's
player's
100.
choice copy with the memory card for $99 on eBay.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy that the prices have spiked this much, but it's like great for us because like right now I'm selling out of a lot of like the back inventory or like I was just combing through my collection, a couple weeks ago. I was like, what am I not really playing that's kind of collecting dust that I can part with and maybe I'll get back later or maybe I
Yep.
won't and I won't really care. And I ended up selling my copy of Go Go Hypergrind
Wow.
on
Wait,
Instagram.
when did you sell that?
Uh, maybe last month or the month before. I don't remember. It all blends together.
Okay.
But I
Bo's
had gotten
jealous.
it. No, you have it.
No, I'm not, because I'm about to mention just something about that game
Ah,
as well.
Um,
So keep going.
I uh, I had bought it off of Facebook Marketplace. Probably maybe 3 years ago, from a lady who was selling it for $5. And she was when I met up with her, I bought it and handed her $5 bill. I was like, "Oh, great, thank you." And she was like, "Yeah, I bought it for my kids, but it's definitely not for kids, so I just need to get rid of it." And I was like, "Okay, great,
It's a
bye."
cartoon game.
Yeah,
How is
and
Facebook
but
Marketplace by your guys' house? Because I know here, if a lot like that gets posted and if you're not messaging within the first 30 seconds, it's gone. You're 15th
yeah,
in line.
it's
I
hard.
don't know.
You don't get
Kelly's probably on it. I'm not on Facebook,
You
and
need to.
I'm on
No,
OfferUp. I'm on OfferUp, and all I see is Kelly's
you
posts.
need to get on
So she's
Facebook
grinding
Marketplace,
hard.
Bo. It's the most popular one right now.
Marketplace is good, but you do have to be quick. I've had a lot of people like it's. I think it's hit or miss. If I find a good deal, I jump on it. I'm pretty quick about it. If I can make it, like, because I was still working.
Hmm.
Today was my last day of work because I work for a school, so it was the last day of school. So whoop whoop. I'm done, and I'm
Congrats.
Congrats.
yay.
Yeah.
So now I'm in my summer grind mode, which was usually I would yard sale and flea market at any point in time. I would just get up and go.
Are yard
Um,
sales happening for you right now or no?
yes.
No, not yet.
No, yes, they are.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
If you were on Facebook Marketplace, you would see all the posts about them.
Can I throw out
Sure.
two tips?
Go for
So
it.
Yeah.
for yard sales, I like to use an app called Yard Sale Treasure Map, and that
I can
that documents all the yard sales that are posted on, I believe, Facebook and Craigslist, and puts them literally on a map for you. There's a free
I'm
version
literally
and
Okay.
downloading it right now.
there's a free version and a paid version. Yard Sale Treasure Map. Definitely check it out. And then also for Facebook Marketplace, when I see a deal that's crazy that I want, I type, "Hey, I'll take it." And then my next message is, "Can you mark it as sold?" Because when they mark it as sold, you can still message them, but it's off Facebook. If they just mark it as pending or they don't do anything, it could be posted for 20 and you could be on your way. But then somebody could be like, "Hey, I'll offer you 40." And then they could backdoor you and you won't get the lot.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been backdoored countless times on Facebook Marketplace, or like, I'd be like there have been so many times where I am going to get it or I'm, have set up a time to get like, depending on my work schedule or whatever, like set up a time to come get it, and then they'll be like, "Oh, never mind, it's sold." And it's like, dude, what you had said that we
Gotta
were
get them to
meeting
market as
time.
sold. That's the key.
Yeah, so I would I'll try that from now on, but like yeah, it's a 50-50 shot with that.
Yep.
There are I mean, I feel like recently it's been kind of dry or hard to get stuff just due to the corona situation and people like having the time to realize that video games are worth money. Like you were saying you're selling Wii's like all day for like $100 or whatever. I can't find a Wii for cheap anymore because so many people are selling
Yep.
them for a higher price because they're, wising up to it, I guess. It's like, I would find Wii Fit boards at Goodwill for days for like $2. And
But that's
now
selling those.
there's $40. I'm seeing them all over.
Yep.
And
I've
I'm
Oh
like,
sold,
yeah.
I've sold a couple of Wii Fits and like the Wii Fit game for like 20, just to kind of get them moving, and people have bought them. But when I see those, like I used to always say, when I see those at a garage sale or Salvation Army, those will be around after the apocalypse. Like those things are
oh
going nowhere.
yeah. No, it's nuts, but yeah, I don't know. It's I feel like it's kind of dry right now, but I also feel like it's dry because I'm used to right now being the time where I'm at
Hmm.
the flea market, I'm at the yard sales, I'm, making pickups all over the place because, whatever. It's kind of crazy that, I can't go out and do those things right now, but like it's just a whole different world right now, and I want to get back to being able to go to yard sales and thrift stores because I miss them. But
Definitely same. Like everything's still closed here in Michigan. I hit my first garage sale of the year today. I was just going to get gas and I saw a sign. But I mean, sub sales are not going to happen. I feel like here in Michigan, community sales, flea markets, things like that. Because like we're still on the stay at home order till June 12th, and people are scared. But if you're checking Facebook Marketplace, like I said, I check every 30 minutes if I got time, just a quick scan. People are posting so much stuff for free because they can't have the garage sales and they're at home, like stuck at home, and they're doing the spring cleaning, just free. Come grab it. And it's not just video games. You can make money on all kinds of things.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I saw everything on eBay. That's the thing.
Yes.
Also, is that it's not just video games for
What's your
me.
favorite
It's
non
literally
video game item to
everything.
sell?
Uh, High designer magazines. I guess I just sold one for
Really?
$175. So
damn,
yeah,
Wow. Good to
that's
know.
nuts.
yeah.
I
You
think
got to know what you're looking for. These are visionary magazines, so I'm pretty sure they still publish them, but they're limited quantity. So they're at the time they were only being published 1,500 at a time. And my parents owned designer stores back in the day, so hopefully they don't listen to this because they'll know that I've been selling them. But yeah, I don't think they do anymore. But yeah, just sold one for 175. They go all day.
Wow.
Like people eat them up like crazy, and I don't understand why. But it's the same thing with video games. Like people that don't play video games don't understand why people collect and pay ridiculous amounts for video games, which goes into my thing that I was going to say about Go Go Hyper Grind is that I owned a seal copy of Go Go Hyper Grind that I won off of like a $15
Wow.
raffle. Um, and at the time it was valued probably at $300. Now it's valued at probably $600, $700.
there you go.
I listed one for $999.99. And if you look up Go Go Hypergrind right now on eBay and you click on filter and you click on sold, you'll see that my copy sold for
Wow.
$999.99.
Up.
Wow. How
Damn.
long did you sell
What
that?
happened?
This was just last week and it was up for a few hours and it sold right away.
Wow. That's like
No.
so like
But
if you look at like
but wait,
sorry,
let
go
me
ahead.
finish. Let me finish. He messaged me right away, I guess, or that night when I was already asleep, and he was like, "My bad. I thought it said $5.99."
What?
Man.
And I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning to take a pee, and I saw his message. I was like, I am not even getting into this right now. So I went back to sleep, woke up at 6 or 7, and messaged him back. And I was like, "Whoa, what do you mean? like that's fine. I'm not selling it to you for $600.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm obviously good for 600 if you wanted to, but you know, whatever you want to do. And I was like, well, I listed it for 1,000. It's only sealed copy right now up on eBay. So I'm pretty firm on my price. I'm more than happy to refund you your money, for you fucking
Hmm.
up. But I didn't say that, And it was a bunch of, him waiting. Like he messaged me right back as soon as I messaged him in the morning at 7 in the morning. Like messaged me right
Probably
back. And
freaking
then
out.
it was,
Mhm.
yeah, oh, probably all night. Um, but like I told him, I was like, I don't want to take anyone's money that's not happy with their transaction. I was like, this game though is rare. Is it $1,000 rare? Probably not. It's more me just putting it out there into the world. Like I used to play this MMO RPG when I was a teenager called Maple Story, like crazy. And I had some super rare items in that game, and I would put my store up when I was in high school, and I would sell something that was, $300 million in this currency. And I would come back and I'm like, who the fuck bought this? Like, this was just a random number that I put up that was way too much for this item, but someone bought it because they were like, cool, I have this amount of money and I want this item. And it's this rare of an item that I upgraded a certain way that nobody else has. So I was like, let me do this with eBay. And sure enough, like it worked, but then I still refunded the guy his money because he wasn't willing to pay the $1,000. And I was like, that's fine. I was like, I know this game will go up to $1,000 probably within the next year,
GameCube's hot.
honestly.
Mhm.
Super hot.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I
So
know you sell on eBay for like your job. You were saying, um, when somebody buys and cancels, do you
yeah,
get refunded the eBay seller fees? Because on a
absolutely.
thousand on a
Yep.
$1,000 order, you're looking at like $130 in fees. I kn- I
Yep.
don't think you get
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
think you
yeah.
get refunded if they return the item.
Yeah, no,
You
you do
do?
actually. Yeah, it depends on the return, but yeah, no, I mean, there's ways all around it that you'll get refunded no matter what. Especially if you accept the return and all
Yep.
that. Yeah,
Okay, cool. I didn't know.
absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, with him refunding, like with me refunding him, it was $972. So that was the PayPal fee that gets taken out
Yep.
right away. Was that $28 or whatever it was. Um, so the eBay fees never came out because that comes out once a
Yes.
month. So that didn't come out yet. So it was $972 that was refunded. But he left me a good review. He was like, my dumbass bought this game and Bo was super nice and refunded
Do you
me
still have it
for my
posted or
dumb
no?
mistake. Yeah, I reposted it. I was actually going to post it for $100 more. So at $1,100 because it still shows up as a sold item. It's the last
Yeah.
sold item for Go Hyper Grind. But I was like, and I was going to take new pictures of it and be that type of guy. But I was like, fuck it. Like I'm already asking too much. Another guy has one up right now for 700, 699. Right now with like a poster, an advertisement poster. So he saw his window of opportunity that he can get the next best price. And at $600, like I could have went with it and been fine. But I was like, fuck it. Like I might as well just grade this
Yeah.
and see what it's worth. But at $70, I don't necessarily really even want to
It's got
grade
to
it.
be
But
worth it. I would say it's probably worth it on an item like that. The only other sealed GameCube game I have is like Harvest Moon, another or A Wonderful Life, one of those, which is only valued
Mhm.
at like
yeah,
$50 sealed. So if it's valued
Yeah.
at $50 and you're spending $70 to get it graded, I don't feel like it's worth it there.
No,
yeah,
It's
that
it's
doesn't seem
cool.
worth.
I've never graded a game. I don't own a graded game, but kind of the acrylic cases that it comes in, and just that it looks aesthetically pleasing, personally.
yeah,
And
Yeah, there's only one game that I have that's sealed that I would even think about getting graded, but it's also I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it, but it was again, I did a similar thing to you where some guy had a Super Nintendo lot last year. I bought it and I didn't realize that the games were sealed that were in the box because it was like a couple loose games, a system, and some box games. And it was like, it wasn't like I couldn't tell what the loose games were. So I was like taking a gamble on that. But the box games, it was like Vegas Stakes and something else that wasn't super high end, and then Super Star Wars. And I was like, oh, Super Star Wars would be cool to have in a box. I'd keep that, but the rest, maybe I'd sell it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a loose game, whatever. And I got it for a good deal, so I bought it and I go pick it up and all the box games are sealed. And I'm like, oh,
Dope.
All of them?
okay. All the box games that they
Wow.
had were sealed. So I had 4 sealed Super Nintendo games. And Super Star Wars was one of them. And I was like, well, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm probably out of all this, I'll probably keep this a sealed copy, like, and I'll sell the rest. But I have it sitting on my shelf, and I don't collect sealed because I want to play my games. So I just thought it
Yep.
was a super cool piece, and yeah, I could get it graded. Like I have thought about it, but I also been like, I don't know. But yeah, I just looked on price charting, and it has it at $99.99 for new. So I don't know how accurate that is, but
If you're gonna grade,
it's
I would go VGA. When I was doing it for my
yeah.
first time, I mean,
No,
I'm
I
sorry,
disagree.
WADA. I'm sorry, I meant to say WADA.
Yeah,
That
Wada.
was getting to my
Wada.
next thing.
Yeah,
When I was
Wada.
doing WADA, it seems to be more popular in the community right now. And I was looking
Yes.
at the websites, and the VGA website is very clunky and hard to use. The
Mhm.
WADA
Yeah.
website, step by step, smooth process, you're
Super
ready to go.
easy. Super easy. Great guy with the community. He's like good friends with J
Yep.
Bam,
Yeah,
who is
super
one of my good friends.
vociferous
That
NES man or whatever was his name
yeah.
on there. Yeah, yeah, seems like a good guy. No, but that lot was where I got shoot. What did I sell you, Bo? That Super Nintendo game that was like Links to the Past, but wasn't Link to the Past, and it was like super expensive.
Oh, what is
What
it?
was that game? It was like a weird fly under the radar title that I had never heard of, and I played it and I was like, this is interesting. And then I looked up the price and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sell this.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Super
It was
Nintendo.
like a
What
$90.
was it?
What was it like? Was it like Ace? No. Uh, uh
He throws a hat as
yes.
a weapon.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna
I
try.
forget. Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up.
It's not an RPG, but it's more like Link's
Speaking
Awakening
of
or
Link's Awakening and things like that, did you guys know that like 007 on Game Boy Color is like a Link's Awakening remake? There's a
no.
007, it's
What?
either on Game Boy Color or Game Boy. And I've never personally played it, but people say it's really like Link's Awakening and like Links to the Past. Like it's like a clone of those.
Oh, I have
No
I
way.
have 007 for Game Boy. I'm pretty sure.
It's
I
one
might
of
have it
those,
for Game Boy.
but
So I might have to look into it. But I
That
have.
you upgrade weapons and stuff?
I've all right, people are gonna hate me for this, but I've never played a Zelda game. Um, I
What?
don't like RPGs.
We're ending this right now.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay not to like RPGs. I'm
RPGs
not a
are
huge
not my
RPG
forte, so I've never
fan.
played a Zelda game.
That's all right.
But I've just heard from people like selling the game or people who are buying it that's like this is very similar to Zelda.
Hmm. I'm not,
James Bond 007 for Game
I
Boy.
found it. It was the Twisted Tales of Spike McFang.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's it.
It's $110 now. But yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up. I'm going through. I'm trying to work on my Game Boy collection right now with my labels and stuff. I've been super behind on it, but I have an idea where I want to like play a game a day kind of thing for Game Boy or Game Boy Color, and like almost write a small little snippet of like, this is what I thought about it for playing it for a little bit, or like literally a short, like just a couple hours of my day just playing a game from my collection on Game Boy or Game Boy Color, and just being like, this is what I think of this game, and whatever. So I kind of want to look into the 007
That'd be
for right now
awesome.
and see if that's a true thing.
That'd be
That'd be
awesome. I definitely read it.
cool. Sweet. I got one. Oh. Well, what do you think, Bo? We're almost at 2 hours here on this.
I know. We're running a little late. Chris, how are you with everything?
I'm good. It's been a pleasure talking with you guys and just talking video games for the past hour and 54
Yeah,
minutes.
it's
It's
fun,
like
right?
I could honestly go all day. I know people don't want to listen all
Yeah, I
day,
know
but
it's so much
I
fun.
don't like. I got my local buddy who collects games, but when I try to talk to my parents and my girlfriend, they're like, "Okay, shut up. I don't care." So
Yeah.
it's
All
cool to
right.
talk to people who are actually in the community and enjoy the stuff, and you can just kind of bounce ideas and things off each other.
Yeah, and that's what our podcast is about right now is, just highlighting people from the community and talking about the things that we want to talk about, which is video games, collecting, buying and selling and, upgrading
Yeah.
stuff. Uh I mean, there was one thing that I wanted to mention was this awesome pickup that I got
Oh yeah,
where I
let's
got
let's hear about this. I
that
want to hear
beer.
you bragging.
So it all happened with the Wii U key that I needed a long time ago. And if you're a listener of Precisely Podcast, you would know that I've needed a Wii U key since I've gotten the Wii U kiosk, and I locked a bunch of games in my Wii U kiosk somehow, accidentally.
This is a
And
saga. This is not just any kind of phone.
yes,
It's literally a saga between you and this kiosk
I'm ready
key.
to.
yeah. So Kelly's friend, Corey,
No, Cody.
let her Cody, sorry, Cody. Um, he he let her borrow a Wii U kiosk
Which I
key
still have
for
not
me.
given back yet.
Yes,
'Cause it's
and so I was able to open it from that, but it was this whole big ordeal. I messaged a bunch of people, eBay people too, about it. Nobody was going to sell me one for like less than $100. It was ridiculous. So I just sort of gave up hope. I was like, whatever, And I went back on eBay just a little bit ago, like 2 weeks ago, and I'm looking at Wii U kiosks and I'm reading descriptions. And this one guy's like, I got a bunch of Wii U kiosk keys that will come with this Wii U kiosk. And I'm like, cool, my man. So I messaged him. I'm like, can I get one of those keys that you have? And he's like, how much are you willing to pay? Said, under $50 would be ideal for me. He's like, if you can give me 45, sure. I was like, awesome. You're my man. Here's $45. And he sent it to me right away. And I was like, oh, you live pretty close to me. I saw his address and he's like, yeah, I do. I was like, what else you got? He's like, I got a bunch of stuff. He's like, I've been selling video games for 20 plus years. I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, I worked for GameStop for 20 years and I'm still working for them. So I've seen a lot of different generations of systems and stuff. And I was like, let me know what you have, because he does not have anything on his eBay besides this Wii U kiosk. So he has a Wii kiosk, which I was considering, but I don't have room for it. Um, he had a DS demo unit, which I already own one, but this was an upgraded version of the one that I had, like with like extra advertisements and stuff. Doesn't have the actual DS unit in it, but I was like, yeah, I'm interested in that as well. Bunch of stuff, and I was like, yes. So, a Super Smash Brothers llama, which if you're familiar with llamas, they're the display units that are like a round cylindrical display unit, mainly for I think Wii and Wii U. They were popular for.
A
Um,
llama?
a llama, they're called.
Oh, I'm picturing like the
Are you?
animal.
Yeah, no. It's like this. It's
No,
like a tube, a
Bo
tube
Bo
of
now owns a llama that lives in his backyard, and it has like just the stamp of just like Super Smash Brothers on the side or whatever. And
yeah.
he
No, I own two
has
llamas now, actually.
grass and yeah,
Glad we got that cleared up.
on him. Yeah.
But he had a bunch of not for resale cartridges. So I got Majora's Mask, Super Smash Brothers for both for 3DS, and then Pokemon Emerald, not for resale cartridge as well for Game Boy Advance.
Are you collecting not
And
for resales now? I forgot to ask you.
oh, I have been, yeah. It's one thing that I don't think is that popular of a thing to collect
I
for
do it a
right
little
now,
bit.
but will be very
Did
popular
the guy know what he?
Okay.
Did the
eventually.
guy know the values of what he had?
Yeah, to a certain degree, but super nice about
That's good.
things, you know. Yeah, like it was all free to
Yeah,
him type deals, you know. So it was profit to him either
exactly.
way, you know. But he understood the value of it all, and a great dude. So that and then Wii U demo disc for the Wii U kiosk that I
Oh, very
bought as
good.
well. So we got a number on that. I was like, cool, let's meet up. The state, you know, it was like 2 weeks prior that we talked about it. I was like, I'll hit you up the day before. Everything was good. We talked a bunch of different times between then, but then we met up halfway in between our houses, which was great last weekend. And he brought me so much more stuff that I was just like, dude, what the hell? He brought me a tablecloth that had Nintendo DS, GameCube, uh, and Game Boy Advance SP like logo
Wow,
stuff on it. Yeah, which like that's priceless. I've never seen
that's stuff you
anything
just
like
don't
that
find.
for sale. You don't find it. Yeah. Um, he brought me a 2006 Mario electric toothbrush.
Gotta clean
And I
those
was like,
teeth.
this is dope. And it's brand new, you know, still in the box and stuff. Mario Kart Connects Lego type thing.
Oh yeah.
Was
Uh
this all
like a
throw-ins, or
star.
did you have to pay for it?
This was all throw-in stuff on top of what I
Yeah.
just talked
Wow,
about. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Uh yeah, Star Fox patch, Twilight Princess CD, like musical CD sealed.
Oh.
Uh Mario Galaxy coin for its
I
release,
got
like
that.
Oh,
its
I think that was
coin.
like a pre-order
Yeah,
bonus thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that, like shit like that. I was just like, dude, this is way too much stuff. And he's like, it's cool.
he's probably got
Like when
so
I met
much.
him,
Oh yeah.
so much. And I looked at him when I was pulling up. I was like, this motherfucker looks like me. Like big beard, tattoos all up, you know, fucking all we did was talk about beer and whiskey and fucking video games for 40 minutes outside of a Sheets parking lot. You know, I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to you, Steve, if you're listening to this. Uh, thank you for everything. I appreciate it.
An- Another
And
reason why I need to get on Facebook. There's a kiosk group on Facebook that's pretty big, and you probably could have had
Oh
your
really?
yeah,
Wii U kiosk key a long time ago, but you would have never
probably.
found all this
Yeah,
stuff with Steve.
yeah, and that's true. I actually got contacted by someone recently to 3D print PS2 controller arms for me and PS1 controller arms,
Nice.
but I got to send them the metal parts of the controller arms, which I don't really want to
Yeah,
do. And it's a little bit too pricey for me, so
I
we'll
had the
see.
opportunity at a PS2 kiosk on the west side of Michigan for 200, I believe the price was. But
It's
it's
not
it's
bad.
not bad at all, and I really considered it. But the fact that I was like in college at the time, like I had the extra money, but just like you said, nowhere to put it. Like still living at home, two brothers,
Mm.
family, dogs. Just my collection's on two bookshelves. I have zero place to put a PS2 kiosk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm in my kiosk room right now, and I have 6 kiosks staring at me and 2 llamas. And I'm not talking about the animals like you guys think.
They're in there
But
pooping around and eating the
yeah,
grass.
I got to get rid of one of them real soon this weekend. Hopefully, I am because one new one is coming in,
Teaser.
Oh.
which is a GameCube kiosk. It's complete as
Can I
fuck.
ask if it was by Wizard of Ninjas on Instagram?
Yeah, it's my
I,
homie.
I I talk to him every once in a while.
I figured that
He's
was
a
you.
cool guy. I saw he posted all this stuff on his story, and I kind of swiped up and said,
Yeah,
"Holy crap!" on his like Tommy Hilfiger Game Boy Color kiosk. I
Dude,
was
I
like,
was
"That
yeah.
tempted.
I helped him find
really?"
that one.
I was tempted
You
on
know,
that one.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
"That's cool."
He yeah. I helped him find that on eBay. I was like, "Yo, you should buy this," because I didn't want to buy it at the time. It was too much for me, and I should have now. But Yeah, no, and that's another thing that I wanted to mention is if you can't afford something right away, you should spit off that that fine to someone
Hmm.
else, that you're like, "Hey, here's something that you can profit off of. If I can't right now cuz I can't afford it, here's something for you."
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
Yeah, I feel like I do that a lot with you, especially when I
yeah,
see
you
people
do.
locally. I'm like, I have literally no space for this or whatever, and I'm like, here, if you want it, but this is a good deal.
Yeah.
I saw there's something I was gonna
Yeah,
send.
you helped me out with that Nintendo DS
Yeah,
light
that light was cool. And I
sign.
was like,
Yeah.
I don't know where I put that. Yeah, I saw something on Facebook Marketplace about some guy who was selling a Switch kiosk, and I was like, maybe I should send this to Bo. But I was like, I don't
Mm-mm.
know if he wants a Switch kiosk.
I would much rather have it go to somebody I know than just some other random reseller on Facebook any day of the week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think
Yeah, I
that's
got in a big argument with a person selling a PS4 and a Switch kiosk on OfferUp, being like, "Motherfucker, you don't know what the fuck you're selling and the prices that you're asking." We got in a huge
Really?
argument for the longest time, and eventually I had to
Were they
block him. But
overcharging?
yeah, oh yeah, way too much, and didn't know like the PS. Neither one of them had the systems, and the
oh
PS4 kiosk didn't have the TV
I
even.
know. So you're a
no,
kiosk
So it
collector.
was just like, what are you selling for this much
I
money?
yeah.
Like, why are you
I know
doing
on the
this?
old like Super Nintendo kiosks, the systems actually say dev or like for kiosk use only
Demo
demo unit
unit,
on them.
yeah.
Do the PS4 and the Xbox One kiosks also have that on them?
I don't think so.
I don't, I don't know when it comes to PS4 and
Hmm.
Xbox.
I think Nintendo recently, I mean, somebody can tell me if I'm absolutely spouting lies, but I believe that Nintendo in the late couple of years has been the only one to have like demo unit specifics. Like I think it's just an
Sega did too.
no, I mean, like,
I know
in
for a
the
fact.
recent years, like, the
Okay,
Wii
yeah,
U was a white demo unit. You
Yeah,
didn't have, like, a regular Wii U in that kiosk, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
yeah.
think
It had a
PS3
different number,
yeah, I think the
like a different model
PS3 and
number.
the PS4 and the Xbox, were just I think they're just regular units. I
Yeah,
don't
I
remember
know.
it being different in any way.
I know the Dreamcast had a different model number.
The older ones
PS1,
yeah.
yeah, PS1 had actual red sticker on it that said demo unit, like for the kiosk only or whatever.
Mhm.
With a different model number. I don't know about PS2 actually. I'm
Um,
sure they do.
I think PS2
But
had
yeah.
a different unit, but
And I know N64 did
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kiosk collecting, man. You're
It's
crazy.
fun.
You're crazy
I
for
just
that,
have
but
zero room
all
for it.
for you.
I'll collect like sealed stuff because I mean that takes up very little room. But kiosks and signages, they're awesome. Don't get me wrong on that. Just no room.
I
Yeah.
literally have one standee and I can't figure out where the hell to put it that it's not going to be in the way
Which one is it?
literally all the time. It's just an Overwatch standee that my friend got me that he works at GameStop. So he would hook me up with some stuff sometimes and he got me that one when he worked at the one that was close to me. So,
Dumpster diving story. I found a sealed Days Gone standee at dumpster diving at GameStop, and I ended up reselling it on like Facebook Marketplace for like $60 just to kind of get it gone because it was so big. And one guy did hit me up to ship it, but when I took it to like UPS, it was like $110 to ship.
oh yeah, it's ridiculous
Yeah, fuck that.
pricing to ship huge
Oh yeah,
things. Uh, Yeah, but I mean, like that's the other thing is like when GameStops and stuff open, like I cannot tell you how many times like I just knew my local GameStop people from coming in, and they would always be like, "Yeah, if you want anything, just tell us, and like we'll save it for you until we're done with
that's
it." Like
awesome.
as far as like signage and stuff like that, or like whatever. And like sometimes they would just give me extra promo items. Sometimes it'd be like we had 300 of these and we have like 200 left. So I know you didn't order this game, but like here's the promo for I don't know some game that came out.
That's
I'd be
one
like,
thing I
okay,
never
cool, thank
got into is like kind of collector's editions and stuff because I don't collect current gen stuff. Like I don't have a PS4, Xbox One, or Switch, so I don't collect any of the current gen stuff. But just with the collector's items, it's never really. appealed to me, like this, like the statues or the notebooks and stuff that come with them. It's just not really my thing.
Same.
There's like a
I don't like the statues.
you got to be really specific. Yeah, I don't really do collector's editions unless it's something that I really want. Like there was, I kick myself for not buying it, but a couple of years ago when they were like cleaning out GameStops of like clearancing items, they had like a sale on the Borderlands collection, and it came with a claptrap statue, and I really wanted that, but like the original price was like
They're
$300. I was like, I
expensive.
cannot spend $300 on that or something like that, and it was down to like 60 or something, and I was like, oh, I really want that, and I was like couldn't find it anywhere, and I was like, damn it, I should, like, now looking back, like I should have found it, and traveled for it, kind of thing. Like
Hmm.
I should have looked at out of area, but like it's like that, like I have to love the game, and it has to be an item that like I really want. Like even with the new Borderlands that came out, I love Borderlands, but I didn't love what came with the collector's edition, so I didn't buy the collector's edition. I just bought the edition with the steelbook. So it was like, you have, I don't know, it has to be something that I want. It has to be something that like I'm gonna have space for. And like I don't know, like statues, it's like a 50-50 shot, because I don't have a ton of space, but statues are super cool. Like a lot of the I don't know if you've seen like the first four figures statues that they make. I really like those, but like I have no space for them. But I was like debating on getting the Luigi's Mansion one, just because I love Luigi's Mansion, and I feel like they never have enough stuff for Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah,
And I have like space on my shelf between my TVs that will look really good with like a huge statue right there, but it has to be like a statue that's good. Like it
yeah,
has to be something that I love. So I've been like debating that, and it's only like 100 $120, which I don't feel like it's a bad price for a statue.
no,
But I just haven't pulled the plug on it yet. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it over quarantine because the eBay sales have been good. So
Mm-hmm.
treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Well, gentlemen, shall we wrap this thing up?
I think that sounds like a
I
plan.
am down for that.
All right.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun talking about a topic I feel like all three of us are very seasoned, very knowledgeable about, and I'm sure we have not even touched on the stories that we could tell about garage
No.
sales and flea market buys and pickups on OfferUp and things like that. So
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to you guys for having me on. This was a ton of fun, and I know you guys said this is going a little long, but I mean, like I said, I feel like I could go all night with just the amount of stories and just knowledge that all three of us have. So I want to say
oh, yeah,
thank you
Absolutely.
again for having me on. This was a ton of fun.
yeah, no problem.
Absolutely. Yeah. We would love to have you back on too. You
Sure.
definitely gave me knowledge into a world that I'm familiar with but
Yeah,
unfamiliar with too. You
Hmm.
know,
always more to learn.
we all sell things differently, but we're all hustlers, and that's a great thing about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's all about coming up a little bit to get to the collection that you want to. You know,
definitely.
yeah, there's literally a sign on my desk that I'm staring at right now as I record this that says every day I'm hustling, because that's it's everybody is just like, damn, you're such a hustler. Like all the time. My fiance's like, you're hustling literally 23 of the 24 hours a day. Like you need to take a break. I'm like, no, there's no breaks.
I
You're hustling.
I'd be
yep.
lying if I said I didn't blast that song at full volume after a few good Facebook Marketplace scores. I would be
I
lying.
No, it's fair. I usually do Beyonce's Diva, because a diva is a male version of a hustler. So that's where I go.
I love it.
So yeah, it's been a good convo, guys.
Check Facebook
Appreciate.
Marketplace, know your knowledge, and have enough space. I think are the three things we touched on today at the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure
And
I can speak for everybody. If you have any questions about selling items or appraising items or whatever, feel free to reach out and ask us, because we've got the knowledge.
Yeah.
and where can people follow you, Chris?
So I'm on Instagram at COUSI Cousi.retro.games. And I'm also on Twitter at COUSI Games.
Cool.
Right on.
And you can follow me at Bose BEAUS _ game room. And Kelly,
You can find me riding all night on the highway to Kel with no underscores, and I really shouldn't tell you how to spell it because I feel like we all can
you
get
should
there.
know it.
We can all get there.
Yeah,
So,
just get there.
and also make sure to follow us on the socials at Precisely Podcast. Make sure to listen in on past episodes and get your entries in for the giveaway because that's going to be a good time. And Bo, we should really start putting that box together.
Yeah, we should.
But yeah, it's gonna be a
Yeah,
great giveaway. It's gonna be fun. So get in on it. It's gonna be awesome.
we'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about it after this. Yeah. So what? This is episode 49. So 48 and 47, we also put secret codes in. So listen to those fully to find the code and DM us at Precisely Podcast on Instagram, to be entered and have a second and third entry.
Yes. Yes.
And we'll do a fourth entry, and then we'll be done. Our 50th episode will be the fourth entry. And
50
we're done.
hype.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It's exciting. 50 episodes.
I know
crazy.
we got to think about something special for 50th episode, Kelly.
Yeah, I've been thinking. I have some thoughts. So
The president
Okay.
of Nintendo is going to be on.
yeah, we have
Yeah,
Reggie
probs.
coming on live.
He's not with Nintendo anymore, though.
Yeah,
He's
but
with GameStop.
Isn't the new guy's
Yeah,
name
but-
actually Bowser or something like that?
Yeah, Bowser. Yeah.
yeah, but Reggie would be. I would love to have Reggie just anywhere. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't care who he's working for. I just feel like he'd be a great conversation.
Same. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Check out our website at precisely.live. Not at, but just precisely.live. www.precisely.live.
On the World Wide Web.
Thank you, Chris, for being an awesome guest and giving us insight on buying and reselling and collecting.
Yeah, thanks again. I hope everybody has a great night. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everyone. We
Yeah.
out.
We out.
See ya.